Welcome to Spanish Fork High School. It's the opening game of the 2016 football season here for the Spanish Fork Dons. The kickoff just got underway, and the Dons got the return out to the 24-yard line tonight. The Mountain View Bruins in town for the rematch of the opening game from last year's season as Carson Chappell throws over the middle to Colt Condi. He's going to have about 8 on first down, but there is a penalty marker in the backfield back at around the 19-yard line. So imagine something here, Chris, early on right away against the Dons.
Yeah, and that's, one of our triple T keys of the game. His triple T is a triple threat, and one of them is to limit mental mistakes and turnovers, and on that play, Mountain View had one. And they are marching, 15 additional yards off.
So that's going to move the ball right away out to the 48-yard line of Spanish Fork here as we get set, ready to go. The Dons wearing the red tops and gray pants at home. Mountain View in the all-white visiting uniforms with the maroon kind of helmets here. And Chris, we'll talk a little bit more here about this momentarily as Spanish Fork gets ready to go. We'll get our triple T keys to the game here for Spanish Fork as Carson Chappell, making his first varsity start, is from shotgun. He'll be back to throw here. Goes down the sideline looking for Stanton, but just overthrew him out of the reach of Stanton down the sideline to bring up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, so the Triple T is sponsoring our keys of the game. The first one is to limit mental mistakes, turnovers, and penalties and such. Both teams need to do that if they want a victory. Both teams have new coaching staffs and need to establish an identity on both offense and defense. And, of course, this is the first game, and you got to relax and get rid of some of those first game jitters.
We'll look at those as we go throughout the game as Mateen Lomax breaks into the secondary. He's down to right around the 33-yard line, and the first down for the Spanish Fork Dons, the first one they get on an offensive play. Mateen Lomax able to break free into the secondary.
And Lomax looks like a load to bring down, but that hole was large enough. I could have got you 4 or 5 yards on that play. Great job by the offensive line opening up that huge hole.
So a nice pick up there. It's now going to move the ball down to the 33-yard line of 1st and 10. Still first minute of the home football season here for Spanish Fork. Here's Lomax again. He tries to take this one to the left side. Not as productive as the first carry. He's still on his feet. He's going to go ahead for about 5, and a very difficult 5 here for Lomax.
Yeah, and Spanish Fork was looking for a running back this season. They might have one in Lomax. His first 2 carries were great so far. Great second effort, and he'll check out of the game.
So a very big couple of runs there for Lomax, and now they'll spread the field here. 3 wide receivers. A single back is Noah Conway. He'll get the carry right up the middle, and he'll be close to the marker. He'll be down right around the 25. Looks like the 26-yard line is where they're going to mark it. 26-yard line, so he'll pick up about 3, and now brings up the first 3rd down of the season, a 3rd and about 3.
And we're in that crazy territory where you can either, you probably don't, Daw doesn't have the range to kick a field goal from here, so you might want to take a chance here downfield.
3rd and 2 officially. Back to pass. Chappell throws the screen pass, gets it out to Conway. He's going to have enough, it looks like, to get past the sticks for a first down to right around the 23-yard line. It's going to be close, but it should be a first down. And Carson Chappell's got his 2nd completion of the night.
Yeah, and this drive's been aided by that huge penalty. Mountain View's kickoff coverage was great. We didn't show that play, but the Dons started on about their own 23-yard line and have been marching the ball.
Split back formation here for Spanish Fork. Lomax and Conway together. Chappell throws this one behind, in and out of the hands there of Way Stanton, and Stanton tried to reach back for it, but just couldn't quite pull it together. And he'll bring up a 2nd down at about 10.
And that's a pass that you just gotta make, but it's all timing. It's early in the season, so 2 for 3 is not a bad way to start.
Spanish Fork trying to get back here into a spot where they can compete for the Region 8 title this year. And it all starts tonight with Mountain View. They'll be home tonight. Next week they head up to Salt Lake City to take on the Skyline Eagles. Here's Lomax right again. He's up the middle inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. Pretty close to the marker again. And a nice job, Mateen Lomax really starting to show that he might pull away in that running back competition.
Yeah, he's got great wills, quick speed for a big guy his size. And, man, that line is blowing that 3-4 defense off the line. And if you're Mountain View's nose guard there, you have to at least hold the ground a little more, or Spanish Fork's just going to run all over you.
First down and 10 from the 13-yard line. Jackson Higginson to the top of your screen. And Chappell's going to go outside on the screen to Condi, but it goes in and out of the hands of Colt Condi, the senior wide receiver. And that brings up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and I think Condi saw Riley Cinema for Mountain View number 4 there and decided, I don't want anything to do with that. And that's very intimidating to have a big guy like that right in your face. Colt Condi is just 5'9", 145, but man, he is an athletic wide receiver, and we'll also see him at cornerback.
What are some things Carson Chappell, what's he thinking right now? We'll get to that here after this plays. He's got split back wide receivers here. Give right up the middle. Landon Jensen gets his first carry. He's going to fight to right around the 10-yard line, picks up around 3 yards, and brings up a 3rd and 7.
I don't know. He's probably so amped up right now, Carson is, that he's not sure what to think. But you just got to rely on what you've done in fall camp to get ready for the season.
You have to kind of like what offensive coordinator Brandon Condi has done tonight. Give him some early, quick throws that are easy to get to kind of maybe get some confidence here early on against Mountain View. Back to throw. Chappell throws over the middle into 2 guys. That one's incomplete. Looking for Colt Condi down the middle. And that's going to bring up 4th down for Spanish Fork. And it looks like we'll see Sam Daw for the field goal.
He's trotting out on the field. Looks like this will be about a 27-yard attempt.
It's going to be Noah Conway to hold. I can't quite see who's snapping for Spanish Fork tonight. One thing the Dons struggled with at times last year was getting the snap down. They'll get this one down. Dawes kick looks good from here, and it is good from 27. And Spanish Fork's on the board on their first offensive possession of the night.
Yeah, and that was a great kick by Daw that time as that ball sailed right off his foot. Great height. There was no chance anybody was going to block it. And the Dons take a 3-0 lead here. And we'll see how their defense does. We were here for the red and gray scrimmage, and it seemed like the defense struggled and the offense was able to move the ball on them at will.
So it should be interesting to take a look at the defense. Let's get our sponsors in here real fast. We do want to let you know tonight's game is brought to you by the Car Guys for the Car Guys Instant Replay. MVP Sports, the MVP of the game, will be announced here at the end of tonight's broadcast. Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance for the Lance Wilson State Farm Great Assist. 2 Jack's Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for our Triple T keys to the game. Dickerson Automotive for a great drive. And McKell, Christensen, and Wise, attorneys at law. Great defensive plays make great offense. So we'll see if the defense now has an opportunity to make some of those great plays. And like you said, a good opportunity here against Mountain View is James Daw has the ball teed up on the 40-yard line. It's going to be McKay Waite, number 11, back deep to receive, and Waite is going to bring this one from about the 2-yard line, out across the 15 to the 20, the 25, still on his feet outside the 30 before he's going to be thrown out of bounds at 33. We're going to see a lot of McKay Waite tonight. We saw him with the kickoff, Chris. We saw him play defensive back, and we're going to see him as starting wide receiver.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of him, and I'm curious to see who Mountain View brings out as the quarterback. Looks like it's going to be number 5, Josh Zavila. Oh, it's number 9.
Be calling Sko at quarterback, the senior. That was something that they had, kind of a quarterback competition like many schools do when they're replacing their quarterback here. They'll have an I formation set here on first down. Fumbled the snap, and immediately falling on it is Sko. So not the way you wanted to start it for Mountain View, with quickly losing a yard or 2.
Yeah, that is exactly not the way you want to start. Now the center's even a little more jittery. He's going to be thinking about that this next time instead of who he has to block. So hopefully this might be a good time for Spanish Fork to maybe do a run blitz.
Once again, we'll see that I formation set. McKay Waite to the very top of your screen at home. Here's the give right up the middle. That's going to be the starting running back. That's Noah Jensen, another one that we'll see a lot of him tonight. He'll probably shoulder a lot of the work here for this Mountain View team, as he picked up about 3 there, and now it brings up a 3rd and 9.
That was a great job by Trey Lawton coming up from his strong safety position to make that tackle.
It's going to be Sko from under center. I formation set here again on 3rd and 9. Back to pass for the first time. Gets this one out into the flat, and that one's going to be complete for a first down. And it's going to be, that's Michael Young, number 25, out to the 45-yard line. Moves the sticks, the pickup of right around 9 for Mountain View.
That was one of those passes where I'm like, nobody's open, and I don't know how he got that ball in between all those Don defenders, but he had just enough arm to get it through double coverage.
1st and 10 from the 45. Again, we see a missed snap, and we'll see here. It looks like Mountain View recovered it, but they're going to lose a couple of more. And Chris, you talked about it. Those are one of those mental mistakes we talked about with Spanish Fork, that you've really had about 3 weeks to work that out, and it's kind of concerning probably right now for Mountain View that their center to quarterback exchange just isn't working too well.
Right, and when 2 out of your first 4 plays result in a fumbled snap, that really limits what you feel comfortable as a coach in calling.
Sko from under center, ready to go. This time it's going to be a give right up the middle to the fullback on just the straight up dive. And that I believe was Michael Young on the carry. Picked up a couple out to the 49-yard line, so a nice pickup there on 2nd down.
And I was curious what kind of offense Tyler Anderson would run here, but he looks content just to line up in the I formation, run play action pass, and run the ball up the middle.
3 wide receivers here for the Bruins. Ball right at midfield. Sko back to throw. Looking on the slant route. Colt Condi kind of jumped it, but it's thrown behind. Looking right there for Michael Clark. That one incomplete and brings up 4th down.
Yeah, and Colt Condi was in the right position to make a great play, so Mountain View's quarterback show just decided to throw that one away.
6 minutes and 15 seconds to go here in the first quarter. 3-0 Spanish Fork. The Dons getting a field goal from James Daw on the opening drive to, at the time, or right now, give them a 3-0 lead. On to punt is going to be, I believe that might be Michael Young. No, it's not. The punt's underway. Kind of a low liner. It's going to take a Spanish Fork bounce. It's going to die right around the 28-yard line. And so once again, pretty good field position for the Spanish Fork Dons, as that was Max Price on the punt, the senior wide receiver and kicker for Mountain View.
And if you're the Spanish Fork coaches, you might want to talk to your players when that ball hits to scatter, because Jensen got in there close and it came within a few inches of hitting his foot, and that's a live ball.
So, Chris, you've seen the Spanish Fork offense, one possession. What do you like? What do you think they need to improve on this drive?
I was very impressed with the downhill running of Lomax. He looks like he's going to be hard to stop this season.
So we'll see here as back going deep down the sidelines, looking for Higginson, and they have him at the 35. Burno, and we'll see here, they're going to wave it off and say it's incomplete. A lot of excitement there as Higginson almost had it, but looks like it goes incomplete the last second. So we've seen Carson Chappell with those short completions. Now we're starting to see him go deep.
Yeah, and they set that play up by going underneath every time, and those cornerbacks started to sneak up, and they had that play. It was thrown a little late, but Jackson Higginson just couldn't hold on to it as his hands were split that time by the defender.
Here's the give to Lomax right up the middle. He's going to reach out at the last second and try to stretch out to right around the 30. See where they're going to mark it. I believe it's going to be the 33-yard line, so a pick up a 4 on 2nd down and brings up a 3rd and about 6.
And this is most likely a pass situation, but with the way Lomax has been running, it might not hurt to go with a draw play. It's not in the game, so it would be hard to run that.
Colt Condi in the slot here. Watch for him, and now it looks like Mountain View jumped as it was one of their interior linemen, number 50.
It was Clayton Chun that just couldn't quite hold it together that time. We'll see. He might have been drawn. Nope, it's
offside. It's the second penalty of the ball game here for Mountain View. 2 penalties so far against the Bruins.
Some of these high school games can get brutal with penalty after penalty. And so far, Mountain View's had a lot of mental mistakes with 2 snapped fumbles and 2 penalties.
Back to throw, Chappell over the middle. He's got Condi in and out of his hands. They're going to rule it incomplete. Mountain View does the alert thing and immediately kind of jumps right on the football in case it was a fumble, but just one of those tough plays for Colt Condi to bring up 4th down.
Right, he went across the middle, and McKay Waite decided to say hello to him that time as he leveled him and was unable, Colt Condi was unable to hold on for the first down that time.
McKay Waite standing back at about the 25-yard line for Mountain View as Spanish Fork needed to get one final player on the field. It's going to be Wade Stanton back deep. Now, Stanton a couple times last year took off in these situations. We'll see here a high snap. He'll run to the left. He's going to run for it again. He's going to have the marker more across the 45, out of bounds and around the 48-yard line. And a first down for Spanish Fork as Wade Stanton takes the fake punt and gets the first down.
I believe the coaches give him the option every time on that play. Stanton has the choice of either punting or if he thinks he can get the first down, and he better be certain, the coaches have given him the green light. And he was successful on about 80% of those last year. There was the 1 or 2 times, though, you set your defense way back and you lose that field position game, but it's a game of risk and reward. That time they're rewarded.
The hard part is that swings momentum here already. Chappell from shotgun gives to Lomax, and Lomax is going to get in the middle of that defense, crosses midfield, gets the 49-yard line, so he's going to pick up maybe a tough 3 on the play, but nonetheless, that's a good way to get 3 yards on first down.
Right, and they list Clayton Chun, who was taken for a ride for 3 yards at 272 pounds. So Lomax has a ton of lower body power. You're going to have to get down low, even if you're a defensive lineman, to bring him down.
I have Lomax unofficially at 5 attempts for 41 yards here, right up the middle again. It's Noah Conway. Flag comes in late, and we'll see here, and probably from where it came in, it came from I believe it's the back judge, the one at the very back of the field, and I believe it's going to be a face mask, and if that is, that will give Spanish Fork a first down. And it's going to be a face mask against Mountain View. And Chris, these are the things where it's one thing if Spanish Fork's moving the ball, but you had a penalty on a big second down at about 7, and now you have your second penalty that gives them a first down. Yeah,
they've had 2 big 15-yard penalties on this defense so far, and then on their offense they've been limited by their ability to snap the ball, and they're going under center. It's not like it's a bad shotgun. Mountain right in the I formation and should be able to have a good center to quarterback exchange.
4:21 to go here in the first quarter. Spanish Fork driving. Here's Chappell. He's going to the end zone. He's got Higginson, and it's going to be just incomplete. Is it out of the reach of Jackson Higginson there in the corner of the end zone? And not a bad idea on first down to take a shot deep. Yeah, and that gives Mountain View something to think about later in the game. They've gone deep on him twice. It's been there both times. That time it was a little out of bounds, but earlier they would have had a huge gain if Higginson would have been able to hold on to the ball. Noah Jensen, the cornerback to the bottom of your screen. You see him right now on Jackson Higginson. McKay Waite playing kind of the safety position is having to come up often in the slot. And here's Lomax on the carry. He's going to get hit, breaks a couple more, and comes up about a yard shy of the marker. So picks up about 9 there on second down, and now you're in a 3rd and 1. Yeah. The Bruins that time gave Lomax 2 yards, and he decided to take 3 defenders with him for an additional 5. And one thing, Chris, that we should mention is it's going to be interesting to see with how well Spanish Fork is running. This is not a Mountain View team that has a really deep roster. So if you have a lot of guys playing both ways, you're going to probably get worn out as the game goes on. Exactly. Here's the give to Lomax, goes right up the middle. He's going to have enough for the first down to about the 17-yard line. That's a pickup of about another 6 yards and a first down Spanish Fork. And that's one thing I noticed about Mountain View last year when we went up to their high school. They do not have very many guys on the sideline. And I'm assuming a lot of their guys, we've seen them go both ways here early in the game. So if you're able to run the ball like you mentioned with Lomax, Jensen, and then throw it every once in a while, they're just going to keep playing, get worn out. Chapel from shotgun here with 3 wide receivers back to throw over the middle. Bobbled at first and then held on by Tyler Christensen. So picks up down to about the 14-yard line. That's going to be a pickup of right around 5 yards, but nice job for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, and they've had 2 great drives so far. I mean, they needed the fake punt and went for it on 4th, but looks like they're most likely going to come up with points on their first 2 offensive drives, and that's huge.
2nd down and 5, ball in the 13. Spanish Fork needing the 8 to move the marker here. Chapel to throw. Gets this one in and out of the hands of Colt Condi, and McKay Waite was kind of standing out there at the safety position, almost had a gift from Carson Chapel there, but that will bring up a 3rd down for Spanish Fork.
And Colt Condi's only 5'9", but he's got to come up and make that catch on that play right there.
3rd down and 5, 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go, first quarter. Thanks for joining us here on a Friday night. Spanish Fork at home to open their season. That one's thrown for Conway. It's going to be knocked down. It's a live ball picked up by Mountain View. The official did not signal incomplete pass, so it's going to be a Spanish Fork turnover. And right there, Mountain View able to get the football back, and their defense stands strong.
And that's just a huge mistake by Spanish Fork because they have the first turnover of the game. They were in field goal range for Daw.
And the tough part about that, Chris, is those are the things we talked about. It happened a lot last year where drives would go, but they just weren't able to finish them. And that's something Spanish Fork's going to have to do if they're going to finish in the top 4 spots in region. Yeah,
last year I don't remember a team ever having so many 3rd and 45s because of 3 or 4 holding penalties like Spanish Fork did last year.
I formation, it's going to be Jensen on the carry, and he's going to be hit by Landon Jensen and dropped for about it's going to go, I guess, right back to the line of scrimmage here.
A great job by Landon Jensen getting in the backfield and making a play. I've been very impressed with the Dons tonight on both their defense and offensive line. They've manhandled this Mountain View Bruin team, and Mountain View's going to have to step up in those trenches if they want to keep in this ball game.
2nd and 10 here for Mountain View. 3 wide receivers, I formation. Sco back to throw. He's going to throw this one towards the sideline. In and out of the hands and dropped. It was number 4, Riley Saima was right there, and he just couldn't quite bring that one in.
And that's what catch Saima has to come down with. That thing was lobbed to him. There wasn't a defender within 5 yards, and just first game jitters is the only thing I can think of. Or he's got hands of bricks.
3rd down and 10. So now if you're Mountain View, now you have to go down the field. Their quarterback, 1 of 3 tonight for 9 yards. All these stats, by the way, unofficial. I'm trying to keep up with it as best I can. So I might miss something here or there, but it gives you kind of an idea at least at home. And now an I formation set here, back to pass, going down the field and looking for a guy, has a man wide open. That's going to be incomplete. We'll see if no penalty flag as they were trying to go down to Noah Jensen. That was Michael Young, and Way Stanton got there, timed it perfectly.
That's how the ref saw it. I thought Stanton got there a little early, but if you get away with it, great. And now Mountain View will be forced to punt for the 2nd time this ball game.
I was kind of surprised too. That's why I immediately looked at the 2 officials, thinking one of them was going to throw a flag. Probably not one that Stanton wants to.
Right.
Probably not going to get away with that as the season goes on. Tonight we might see maybe some leeway a little bit, first game of the year, but I don't think we're going to see much.
You get some officials that want to call everything, and then you get others that let things go. But I think the key is as long as the refs are consistent.
Price back to punt, low snap, they get it off. And it's going to be Stanton who's going to come up and field it, and Fair catches it right about the 38-yard line. So once again, Spanish Fork in really good field position, Chris, and their offense just really needs to find a way to open up that deep ball spin there, though, tonight.
I'm going to predict right now that they're going to be able to hit Higginson on one of those deep passes tonight. But also back to the point where you were talking about the officials. Valdez ran right into Stanton after he called a fair catch, and nothing was called that time, and the Dons will start their 3rd possession from their 39-yard.
Carson Chapel back to throw. He's going to hit Noah Conway out of the backfield at right around the 42, and a flag comes in. And it looks like it's going to be a hold. We'll wait and see here. And it will be a face mask against the offense. So not a penalty you see a lot of, especially on the offense, Chris, but here it's going to cost Spanish Fork 15.
Right, and if you're a lineman, you cannot grab anybody's face mask, and that's obviously what the official saw. Sometimes you can get away with it because there's just so much chaos going on, but the Dons didn't that time, and this will put them in a huge hole, and this is what got them in trouble last season in a lot of the close games.
It's going to make it a first down and 25 from their own 24-yard line. They need their 49-yard line to move the chains. The good news is they do get that first down play back. Chappell from shotgun. He's going to throw, looks over the middle. He's got Tyler Christensen. He falls ahead to the 31-yard line, picks up about 7 yards. So a good chunk there on first down.
Right, and they're going to need to get a big chunk on second down as well to make it a more manageable third down. And that was a great play call just to get a few of those yards. And Mountain View was laid back a little bit. Wonder if on one of these plays, if they'll go ahead and blitz, bring some pressure.
Second down and 18, 4 wide receivers for the Dons. Chappell back to throw, looks down the sideline, looking for Stanton. He kicks it and bobbles it, reaches out, but couldn't quite haul it in. And that will bring up third down, but we have a flag now in the middle of the field, and I think they're looking at holding here against Spanish Fork, is what the referee wearing the white hat kind of signaled here to the other officials. So we'll see, though, as we see a Car Guys instant replay. That one tipped by the defender, and Wade Stanton had that one hit him right in the hands. Almost came up with a great catch.
Yeah, I think he was the most surprised person in the stadium that ball hit him in the hands. He didn't think. I thought that was going the other way for 6.
Personal foul, face mask to defense. And that's going to bring up a second down. So it's not going to give Spanish Fork a first down, Chris, but now basically all those yards that they had got a second.
Setting face mask on this drive, and that'll bring up a very manageable second down because they get to replay that down.
50 yards and penalties already here in the first quarter against Mountain View.
Right, and apparently one of the, we got to apologize, there's 57 seconds. It looks like 57 minutes.
It's 57.1 is why you're seeing that 10 come up as Lomax gets the first down and more. Into the secondary, brought down at the 31-yard line. First down, Spanish Fork. Picks up right around 22 yards, and that's what you've been looking for Spanish Fork, a balance between the run and the pass.
Yeah, and that's something they lacked last year, was that they required a lot of their running yards to come from the quarterback, and I don't think Carson Chappell's going to be capable of doing that this season. So it's great to have Lomax in the backfield with him.
First and 10 from the 32-yard line. Chappell back to throw, looks over the middle. It's caught by Condi, but he'll lose maybe a half a yard or so. He might have gotten, and they're going to say he lost about a yard there.
Yeah, and that's one of those plays where Mountain View read that well. You might be better off just not taking that chance and throwing it out of bounds if you're the Dons that time.
20 seconds on the clock, so probably one final play here of the quarter. They don't have to snap it, but they likely will. Mountain View shows blitz. Back to throw. Chappell's going deep, looking for Saili, and that one was thrown incomplete down the sideline. So I take it back, Chris. We'll have one more final play as Chappell once again just couldn't quite get the touch on the deep ball.
And that was a great job by Cody Valdez, giving him a little bump, getting him off his stride that time and making sure that play was going nowhere.
So third down and 11, 6.3 seconds here on the game clock, 3-0 Spanish Fork. 3 receivers to the top of your screen, and Chappell will give it to Mateen Lomax. Lomax makes one man miss. He's down to about the 24. The ball, they're going to say, we'll see here how they rule that. It looks like they're going to call him down. I'm not seeing them signal ball to Mountain View, so they're going to say it looks like he was down. He'll be about 2 yards shy of the marker. And it will be fourth down. So we'll take a break here at the end of the first quarter. Spanish Fork 3, Mountain View 0. You're watching high school football here on the Spanish Fork 17.
We'd like to welcome this week's Super Booster.
Hi, welcome to Two Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
in Spanish Fork. See your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
Local business owner and excavation
As we get set here to start the second quarter, Ryan Thickens and Chris Hurst here as we get set. Welcome everybody back. Let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible here on Spanish 417.
Yeah, we've got some great sponsors this season. We got the car guys who are sponsoring our instant replay MVP Sports with the MVP player of the game. Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance with the great assist of the game. Two Jack's Pizza, Triple T with their Triple T threat. Some keys to the game. Dickerson Automotive, a great drive. We'll have to figure that out later. And Mikkel Christensen Wise, attorneys at law, for the great defensive play of the game.
So we get ready to start the second quarter. Spanish Fork has really dominated the time of possession here in this one, as we're going to have Carson Chappell here from shotgun. Ready to go here. From shotgun, he's going to give it right up the middle. Here's Martin Lomax, breaks into the secondary. He's down inside the 15, or right down at the 15-yard line, it looks like. Spanish Fork going to move the markers again.
Yeah, and Lomax has just been the beast tonight.
Lomax with the first down for the Dons.
He's been unstoppable early in this ball game.
So now we'll see here Spanish Fork here with three wide receivers set. They're going to have Noah Conway here to the right. Back to throw. Gets this one out to Jackson Higginson. He makes one-man miss. That's Wade Stanton to the goal line, trying to fight his way in. He'll go down right around the 4-yard line. They're going to actually say he got closer, it looks like. He's down to right around the 2. And it's going to be first and goal here for Spanish Fork, a 12-yard pickup.
And Stanton wanted the end zone bad that time. Great second, third, and fourth effort to try and get across the goal line, but still, it's second and goal at the 2. Looks like it might be time to just hand the ball off to Lomax. A first and goal.
So now we're going to see Spanish Fork go I formation. We're going to get, it looks like, a timeout here. We'll see here what they do. Timeout Mountain View here. We'll take a quick moment here. And Chris, you talked about this kind of a drive. These are the opportunities you need to punch it in.
Right. When you get down to the 2, there's no excuse when you have 4 downs not to be able to run that ball in.
And so right now we'll see. We've seen kind of some different formations here from Spanish Fork, but it looks like right now we could see the first time tonight that we could see maybe the I formation come into play as we get set here, ready to go. Let's take a moment here. We do want to thank our sponsors, the car guys, Dickerson Automotive, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Christensen and Wise Attorneys at Law, MVP Sports, and Two Jack's Pizza, and of course our friends at Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance for their sponsorship, and a new sports season beginning here at Spanish Fork 17. We concluded in May with high school baseball, and it seems like that time from the end of May till now went by really quick.
It did. It was a quick summer.
I formation set. Chappell gives to Lomax. He's trying to get in, reaches, and he's in. Touchdown, Spanish Fork. Martin Lomax in from 2 yards out. And Spanish Fork goes up 9-0 here on the second play of the third play here of the second quarter.
And if you're Coach Parrish, that is going to be something to value this season, is having that big running back that can get you those 2 yards down in the goal line. That is something Spanish Fork lacked last season. Looks like Lomax might be the answer this season.
James Daw on for the extra point. The snap is good. The placement's good. The kick is through. And right now it is 10-0 Spanish Fork with 11 minutes and 21 seconds to go before halftime. The first time we see a drive that really did a great job the way Stanton got it started.
Yeah, he did indeed. But what's been impressive is they've been able to have balance, both running the ball with Lomax, throwing it with Chappell, and they've got some great targets out there in Lee Stanton and Colt Condi, Landon Jensen. So they should be able to, Jackson Higginson, I failed to mention him. So Chappell's going to have a lot of targets this season. I think they'll have a little more success through the air. Last year, their completion percentage was a little too low, and they didn't have a running game. So they still made the playoffs, but so far I've liked what I've seen from this offense and defense for Spanish Fork and Mountain View. They've had a lot of mental mistakes so far early in this ball game, so they've got to clean things up if they want to get back in this thing.
James Daw puts a foot into it from the 50. It's going to be a short kick. It's going to go to the up back who fumbled the football. It is loose. It's picked up, though, and returned here by, I believe that's number 25, Michael Young. And Chris, just like you said, those mental mistakes, almost another one there for Mountain View.
Right, and that's a good idea by the Spanish Fork coaching staff. We saw Daw kick it long the first kickoff. This time they changed it up, and the ball went a little high, gave the special teams for the Dons a chance to get down the field.
So we'll see here the Mountain View offense has had a rough night tonight, 9 yards through the air so far. And they just haven't really been able to get anything started here. We'll see right here if they can start something here. Sko gives it on first down and being hit and dropped for a loss. I believe that was Cody Valdez, number 3 in the backfield.
And so far this has been a great performance for the Dons. You can see their confidence building on the defense there. And it seems like Mountain View, I wouldn't say they've given up, but they're just not firing off the ball.
Sorry, that was Noah Jensen on the carry, and Jensen able to, he actually loses there.
He lost quite a bit.
Shotgun set, 4 wide receivers. You have trips to the bottom of your screen. And Sko back to throw, looking over the middle. Got a man, that's complete to Young. He's going to have a first down to around the 26-yard line. And remember, the Dons slow to get up. That's Leo Saili, but looks like he's fine. But there's also a flag back at around the 14-yard line.
Roughing the passer by Saili. He just needed to lay off that time, and that's 15 more yards to already huge gain by Mountain View.
They got out to around 26, out to right around the 26-yard line, so it was already a good pickup of about 12 or about 16 yards actually for the first down. Then you tack on the additional. It moves the football into Spanish Fork territory at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, double whammy that time. And Mountain View is on Spanish Fork's territory for the first time this evening.
Here's the give, and it's going to be Jensen around the left side there. He picks up right around 3 yards on the carry. So that will, something that Mountain View really needs to find, Chris, is they need to find something that's going to work offensively. The Spanish Forks did not, their defense hasn't allowed that to be easy tonight.
They haven't been, Mountain View has not been able to run the ball well. That on that first play of this drive, that was the first time we saw the shotgun formation for Mountain View. At some point, you might want to just try and do that again, as they're going to go with trips up on the top side of your screen.
Once again, it's Sko and Jensen in the backfield, and Sko going to throw. Looks down the flat. That pass is picked off by Leo Saili. Just stood right in the passing lane and comes up with it. Mountain View with their second turnover of the night, and the Dons offense ready to go right back to work.
And the Dons will have great field position as Saili gets a huge interception. That was just an errant pass that time by Schau, as I don't know what he was seeing.
I'll make a correction. That is only the first Mountain View turnover of the evening, but nonetheless, good field position again for Carson Chapel and the offense, and we'll see right there as we get a Mikhail Christensen and Wise attorney at law. Great defensive play, turns the ball over to Carson Chapel. He's looking down the field. He's got Higginson deep, makes the catch in stride, and that's going to go for a Don touchdown.
And what a huge pass by Carson Chapel, as the fans are going absolutely nuts here for the Spanish Fork Dons, and they open up a 16-0 lead, and we've seen that play attempted a couple times, and they're finally able to connect on it.
Higginson gets his first touchdown of the season, and we see there on the Car Guys instant replay, he just gets about a 2-yard cushion on Riley Siema and just takes it to the house. The only question really was if Carson Chapel put that one on the money. Daw on for the extra point, and this one is up And it looks good, and it is good.
Point attempt is good, number 13.
Well, if you're Spanish Fork, you couldn't ask for a better start to this game. You had one turnover, but you've been dominating the line of scrimmage. You've been able to have that big play capabilities we saw in that last play, and the defense has looked fantastic. Lights out so far tonight for the Dons. They've had a couple of turnovers, but on the other side of things, Mountain View is just struggling.
And it's tough. Mountain View plays in a tough region. This is not the only time this year, Chris. They're going to see a good team. Alta's going to be good. Corner Canyon. They got to deal with Timpview. And the new school up in Lehigh, Skyline, I think. No, Skyridge.
Skyridge.
They're going to be, they won their opener last night.
And not to mention Provo's program's been on the rise. And it is going to be a monstrous region to try and even win a game if you're Mountain View.
Dow puts a foot into it at the 40. Again, we're going to see this kick's going to go a little bit deeper. It's going to be returned. Noah Jensen out across the 30-yard line. Still on his feet as he hits the 40. James Daw able to just kind of knock him out of bounds, but a great field position here coming for Spanish Fork out to around the 44-yard line.
And you never want your kicker to be the guy to make the tackle. Daw does make the tackle. He got knocked down, but great return that time by Mountain View, and they have an excellent field position. We'll see if they can stop the bleeding here and capitalize on it.
So an opportunity here. The Mountain View Bruins have had good field position tonight, just haven't been able to capitalize. A couple of those really kind of changed the idea of the ball game here.
Yeah, they haven't picked up too many first downs, and when they have, it's been aided by penalties at times.
9:16 whistles blow here, and I think we had a timeout Mountain View. They had something here, timeout Mountain View here. That will be their second of the half. They'll have one more here in the final 9 minutes and 9 seconds here of the second quarter.
And they've marched out at quarterback a freshman, Deuce Anderson. I want to assume that's the coach's son, Tyler Anderson, but I don't know that for sure. So they, after that errant pass, they have switched quarterbacks.
And we talked about that quarterback competition that they had, where it was really kind of, from what it sounded like anyway, a good opportunity where they weren't 100% sure necessarily who was going to get the snaps. And oftentimes in that first game, you trot somebody out there. If he struggles, you throw somebody else.
We'd like to thank our sponsors tonight. We got the Car Guys, Dickerson Automotive, Triple T, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, McKay, Christensen, and Wise, MVP Sports, 2 Jack's Pizza, and Lance Wilson, State Farm Insurance. Thank you for sponsoring high school football on Channel 17.
Great to be with everybody here. Start of a new season. Ryan Pickens and Chris Hurst here as the pitch goes outside. This is going to be Noah Jensen. Tries to turn the corner. Gets into the secondary. Going to be close to the first down marker. Believe he's going to have enough for the marker. And Chris, we've seen Noah Jensen kind of get going. If Mountain View is going to climb back in, they're going to need that kind of a running game.
Yeah, it was a great carry by Buckner. 31. Jensen that time, and that was just student body right. And everybody was put a hat on somebody. The Bruins put a hat on the Dons, and that was one of their few successful run plays of the night.
1st and 10 from the 45 of Spanish Fork here. Once again, we see that I formation set. Anderson under center, gives it right up the middle. It's going to be the fullback, and that is, believe, number 20, DJ Marconery on the carry.
And maybe the quarterback change is just what Mountain View needed. They'd struggled to snap the ball. They'd struggled to move it. And they only got 1 yard, but it seemed like that play was going to go a long distance.
So brings up a 2nd and 9 here for Mountain View. And they've struggled through the passing game here more, I think, than the running game. And so these opportunities here to kind of put them in maybe difficult situations working out for the Dons. Anderson back to throw. Throws this one out in the flat. Nobody's home. As that will go incomplete. Brings up a 3rd and 9.
And Anderson had a few more seconds. I think he was a little nervous. There might be some pressure. There wasn't yet. And nobody had broke on their pass. So and he just threw it away a little bit too early. But he's a freshman. It's tough to be playing quarterback when you're a freshman.
That clock in your head must be really quick. I mean, now we're probably seeing a little bit with both quarterbacks, but an opportunity maybe gets them again for Mountain View, maybe get him a couple of easy throws, easy completions, but nothing's come easy tonight for the Bruins.
Right, and I think that's what they were trying to do on that play. He just needed to wait a second or two for his receiver to break.
Jensen, the deep back, gets the carry there on the counter and gets down to right around the 41-yard line, picks up around 3 yards, but again brings up a fourth down at about 6. And are you in maybe a go-for-it situation if you're Mountain View?
Absolutely. You have nothing to lose. It's a non-region game. For all intents and purposes, it counts on your record, but you got to learn about your team tonight, and you're down 17-0. So I would send a message of we've got to fight.
Fourth down and 6. Mountain View looking for the 35-yard line to try to move the chains. McKay Waite to the bottom of your screen. He's been quiet offensively tonight for Mountain View. Ready to go, 3-step drop, back to throw. Anderson looks down the sideline, has a man out there, but overthrew him, reaching up and kind of leaping was Michael Young, but just out of the reach as the ball just goes out of bounds, and it'll be a turnover on down.
Yeah, and Anderson had Michael Young. He was wide open, but his accuracy came into question on that play, and the Dons, we'll see if they go deep here again. I think I would go deep with Higginson once again.
It's going to be interesting to see McCabe Waite right there. You kind of see him to the top of your screen standing. He's the furthest guy on the 50-yard line because of them bringing in multiple wide receivers, whatever side Waite's been on. He's had to step into the slot a lot instead of dropping back into like a cover 2. Chappell from shotgun here, goes to Lomax. He goes straight ahead, trying to fight his way. He'll get a yard or two. The ball actually gets somehow out to Noah Conway, and he's going to run out to right around the 46-yard line. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, or how. I'm assuming Lomax kind of got stripped and Conway got the carry, I guess.
That's the old saying, sometimes lucky then good. Don's got lucky as Lomax has the ball pop out, but right time, right spot. Conway picks it up and gets 5-6 more yards than they would have gotten.
6:40 to go before halftime here, and back to throw. Here's Conway again on the carry. He's going to spin. He's going to have the first down. He's going to be pulled down from behind at around the 48-yard line. That's going to be another first down as he gets about 6. They're just enough to move the chains.
Now, Spanish Fork's dominated tonight, but we got to keep in mind that Mountain View, the last 5-6 seasons, has really struggled to pick up wins, and sometimes it's tough for those programs to get out of those cycles.
It's not just building a program, but it's building kind of the culture up to say, hey, we can play football as well. Chappell back to throw, looks over the middle. He's got Tyler Christensen with some room to run. Down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. First down, Spanish Fork. So once again, the Dons able to move it. That's a 20-yard pickup on first down.
And that's just a little slant play. That's designed to get 5 or 6 yards. Carson Chappell puts it right on the money for Christensen, and he runs an additional 15 yards after the catch.
Ball now down to the 28-yard line. First down and 10 for Spanish Fork. We've seen this two-back set quite a bit. Noah Conway to the top of your screen there. To the bottom, next to the left of Chappell, is Mateen Lomax. Chappell back to throw, looking for Condi. He's got him, but just overthrew the wide receiver. He didn't have anybody really within about 3 yards of him there. If that's put on the money, that's another touchdown.
That is another touchdown, but great idea that time as they ran a flag route with Condi, and that thing was wide open. You might, if you're Condi, the offensive coordinator, you might want to write that down and go back to that one later in the second half if you need to.
And again, not a bad play call on first down, because with the way you've been able to run the ball tonight, Chris, you've been able to get 5 yards on a run play almost at will.
Absolutely, so why not take a chance on first down?
3 receivers ready to go. Here's Conway again. He loses the football, and the question is here, I believe Mountain View recovered it, and it's going to be Mountain View football as Noah Conway just tried to make one extra move and just lost the football.
Yeah, and one thing the Dons will need to work on this next week is making sure that they hang on to the ball, as that is the second turnover they had deep in Mountain View's territory. We'll see if Mountain View, though, can turn around and take advantage of it as we see that fumble on the Car Guys instant replay.
So ball sits on the 25-yard line is where they're going to mark it here for the Mountain View Bruins, wearing the visiting all-white uniforms, the visitors from Region 7.
And Scho's back in at quarterback.
Back to throw, pressure comes, gets this one out to Jensen. He's going to hold on, make the catch, make a couple of men miss, but at the end of the day, he's only going to come away with about 2 yards on first down. A lot of work there for 2.
Yeah, Jensen took a page out of Tyree's playbook from the New York Giants back in the day and used his helmet to catch that one, but that's also risky. You got to catch that with your hands so you don't get hit and cause a potential fumble.
So it brings up second. They're going to give him 4 on the play. So it's going to bring up, looks like they changed it. He's going to get 3. It's going to be 2nd and 7. Spanish Fork almost jumped right there. There's the pitch to Noah Jensen to the left. He tries to turn the corner. He's going to get a yard or 2, and Saili going to knock him out of bounds right around the 30-yard line. You see here, it looks like they're going to mark it right at the 30-yard line. So again, a tough 2 yards for Jensen.
Mountain View did have success on a couple plays going to the outside, so I think they've really struggled to run between the tackles, which they're lining up in the I formation, and that formation is designed to run between the tackles and not to the outside. So great job by this Spanish Fork defense of really plugging those run gaps tonight.
And Mountain View huddling up here as they take their time. There's 11 seconds on the play clock.
A lot of these high school teams just will go fast.
I formation set. Here's the throw. Sko steps up in the pocket. He's going to be dropped right at the 30-yard line. He's going to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he is down. And he's in some pain as he got hit right there.
Leilula that time got the sack.
Sko will get up now as the officials call timeout.
He has to go out of the game now.
The good news is it was 3rd down, so that brings up 4th down. He didn't lose anything.
He's still walking gingerly and holding that shoulder. Or arm. I wonder if it's a shoulder, Steiner, or something doesn't feel right.
It's going to be Stanton and Saili back deep. On to punt, it's going to be, I believe that's going to be Price once again, standing back at his own 19-yard line.
Stanton's like a Swiss Army knife back there, can do everything.
Punt almost blocked. They got some good pressure, gets it off. It takes a nice Mountain View bounce, and it's going to roll out of bounds. Looks like they're going to mark it off right around the 26-yard line. And with 4:19 to go before halftime, a chance for Carson Chappell and the Spanish Fork offense to kind of put that last turnover behind him and drive here for the end of the first half.
He hasn't thrown any interceptions. They've had a couple of fumbles so far, and that's something they'll need to clean up, but they're leading 17-0 that time. But going back to that last play, that Max Price for Mountain View, I don't know how he stood in there and kicked the ball so well. Usually when you see that much pressure, it's either a bad kick or it gets blocked.
It was a wobbly snap, too, but he was able to get it off. Here's Lomax on first down. Spins through the middle of the defense, dives ahead to the 35-yard line, and Lomax able to pick up 8 on first down.
And Lomax has the strength and size to be one of those running backs you can go to 25, 30 times a game if you need to, and he'll still be playing strong.
Lomax with 11 carries on the night. Ready to go. Here's number 12. Jumps outside. He's going to have the first down and more into the secondary. Brought down right around the 48-yard line. There's a flag, though, back at the 24-yard line, so we'll have to hold it with the way these whistles are sounding, likely coming back.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's starting to move back, and it'll be coming back. But the one, you can't really criticize Lomax too much. He's been a man among boys out there. But when he gets in that traffic, he needs to put that second arm on the ball. We've seen him fumble earlier in the ball game. They were able to recover it, but that's something he can work on, is when you get in traffic, putting 2 hands on the ball.
He's going to move the ball back to the 24-yard line. And instead of a 2nd and 2, I guess a 1st and 10, it's going to be a 2nd and about 12 or 13. It'll be 13 here after the 10-yard penalty. Chappell from shotgun, single back Noah Conway for Spanish Fork. Chappell back to throw, puts it out. Here's Conway on the catch. Tries to make a man miss, and he gets dropped in the backfield. That was Riley Saima, the defensive back. A great open field tackle, got him right down by the legs.
Right, yeah, like you said, open field tackle. Those are the hardest to make. Wasn't exactly on an island, but he made sure he went down after he caught that ball, after Conway caught the ball. Still learning the numbers here early in the season, Ryan.
Conway loses one there on the catch, and now we'll see Spanish Fork really for the first time tonight in a third and really long, and we got a timeout called by Spanish Fork. So head coach Preston Parrish, Chris, wants to talk about it here. You've had a lot of success tonight going up top for Jackson Higginson. Is that something you're maybe looking to do here?
Yeah, and you got to offset. I wouldn't mind going deep like that, but at the same time, you don't want to go turn the ball over here deep in your own territory. With only 3 minutes to go in the half, you played well. You want to take that momentum into the locker room. So I think that's maybe one of the reasons Parrish called a timeout here, is to evaluate the situation, let the young team know, hey, early in the season, we might go for it, but don't take any chances. You can throw the ball away. We do have the lead.
And it's important. I like the point you brought up earlier with Mountain View. It's a non-region game in the state of Utah. Your region games are the only thing that determines state playoff positioning. So really, if you're going to try something new, it's best to do it here in about the first 4 weeks of the season.
Right, and that's what's nice about these preseason games, is you can learn who you want to play in the early on. I know some states every game counts, except for non-state games towards the playoffs.
This is interesting. You got Condi in the slot, Higginson at the bottom of your screen. Watch for that play they ran at the goal line earlier with Condi running the corner route. They're going up top looking for Saili and diving, but he couldn't come up with it. There was Saili. He had a step as they once again pick on Riley's Siema at the top of your screen and just couldn't quite hit it fourth down. And Way Stanton will come on to punt.
I think the play was designed to go to that side of the field. They had 3 wide receivers on this side, and there were not nearly enough Bruins here to cover. Higginson was wide open on the streak on this side, but Chappell only looked to the far side of your screen that time.
McKay Waite standing back at his own 35-yard line. Way Stanton from his own 8-yard line. High snap. Stanton's going to do the rugby-style running kick, and the ball's going to take a bounce at the 45 and take a Spanish Fork roll. It will be downed by, I believe that was number 14. That's Caleb Lundquist, downing it right around the 37-yard line. So decent field position if you're Mountain View, Chris. You have to think 2:49 to go here before halftime. If you're the Bruins, you need points here.
Yeah, you need points. You need to at least try and come out of this drive with a field goal, if not a touchdown. I think if I were them, I would try opening it up with some of those trips formations they've had. They've had some guys get open on that. Spanish Fork has just been loading up on the run. Now they might change to more of a prevent defense with the situation we have where with only 2:49 to go.
So right here we'll see shotgun set. I believe that's Deuce Anderson back in at quarterback. It is. Anderson throws this one high into the hands of McKay Waite, but he gets dropped by Nate Mattis immediately. Maybe it looks like they're going to give him a favorable spot of about a yard.
Is that Anderson's first completion of the night?
I do. I have that as his first completion there as he picks up 2.
Yeah, Mountain View has not had very much. I mean, Anderson just doesn't look like he has quite be acclimated to this level yet with his accuracy.
Mountain View only has the 1 timeout, so they really need to find ways to stop the clock as we get under just a little over 2 minutes to go in the first half. Anderson steps up, throws over the middle. That one's in and out of the hands of Riley Siema again. He just couldn't quite haul that one in. Maybe heard some footsteps there.
Might have heard some footsteps, but it looked like if he could have hung on to that ball, he might have been able to turn upfield and get a few more yards. Wasn't wide open, but he definitely was open.
3rd down and 8 coming up here for Mountain View.
And of course, when you're down, or when you're up here in the booth, it's easier to see some of those scenes, and when you're down on the field, you're just going off your instincts a lot of the time.
You'll see trips to the bottom of your screen. McKay Waite is in that kind of bunch formation to the bottom of your screen. Back to throw. Flags fly immediately. This one's going to go over the middle. It's going to be caught by Young. He's going to have enough for the first down, pending, though, what the flag is for. And we'll kind of see here, and this one looks like it's coming back, as if not, it'll be a Mountain View first down.
Yeah, and I think Mountain View's had the most success tonight when they get those trips on the far side of the field.
And they're going to wave the flag off, so it's going to be a first down. So a nice pickup there for Mountain View as they pick up 12 yards and a first down.
I've always wondered what goes through an official's head when he decides, you know what, that really wasn't a penalty. I just threw it enthusiastically for no reason at all.
I guess the good news here, if an official in this kind of a case where you blew the play dead after the play, you can just wave it off. But if you then start second guessing yourself on a play you blew dead, then that could kind of change things. Anderson back to throw, gets it out. It's got a man out there. It's going to be in and out of the hands. McKay Waite went fighting for it with Caleb Lundquist, and just in and out of the hands there of Waite right there.
Yeah, Lundquist thought he had an interception that time, but great job by McKay Waite to fight for that ball and give himself a chance to catch it. He almost came up with it.
McKay Waite there, I think, had to maybe play a little more defensive back right there and make sure Lundquist, because Lundquist had the better position there to make the catch.
Yeah, very true, but he almost came up with it at the same time. That was a very impressive play, and obviously, in my opinion, Waite is the most athletic guy for this Mountain View Bruin team.
Second down and 10 here for Mountain View. The lights beginning to come on here at Spanish Fork. Right up the middle, and Anderson's going to go ahead here and get a couple of yards right up the middle, gets into Spanish Fork territory at the 49-yard line, picks up around 3.
Number 6, Parker Harrison, and number 52.
And if you're Spanish Fork, you've got that clock moving right now, so that's not a bad play to give up, just a few yards, and then Mountain View seems to be in no hurry-up offense mode whatsoever.
1:06 to go before halftime. 4 receivers on the play. Anderson back to throw. Flags fly, and they blow this one dead, so I'm thinking this is probably going to be against the offense.
It is.
We'll have a illegal procedure penalty here. Makes it around 3rd, and it's going to make it a 3rd and 12, and that's a 3rd. Now you really are forced to have to throw downfield.
Yeah, you do have to throw downfield, and it's, I mean, for Mountain View, it's been a lot of the issues they've haven't been physical. They've been mental. They've had a lot of penalties. They've had a lot of where they couldn't snap the ball on their first few possessions. Even the simple things they've struggled with tonight.
They need the 42-yard line of Spanish Fork for a first down. Blitz comes. They throw the screen pass. Gets it to Jensen. He's going to be close. He's going to break free. To the 30. It's a foot race to the end zone. To the 10. To the 5. Touchdown, Mountain View. They need 2 screen pass to Noah Jensen, and Jensen takes it the rest of the way, and the Bruins are on the board.
Yeah, great play call that time. They've seen Spanish Fork sneaking up on the blitz. Good time to call a screen, and they get back 6 points here with the possibility of 7 with the PAT pending. But the other thing is, gained a little bit of confidence, and then you get to take that into the locker room, and the coaches can build on that.
The extra point, I believe, is going to be Price on for the extra point, and they're going to fake it. Young with the football in his hands. He's going to try to throw, and the ball is going to go incomplete as his arm was in a forward motion. And so right there, got to like, I don't know maybe if that was designed. It looked to be a little more designed than a bad snap.
Well, the snap did hop in front. Maybe that threw off the timing, but either way, Spanish Fork played that perfectly. Had everybody covered, and there was nowhere to go with the ball.
Coming at halftime, we'll have the drill team and the band and cheerleaders here at Spanish Fork High School. And you have to kind of think here, this is the first time we're going to see Preston Parrish in kind of one of those decision modes here. 35.5 seconds, you got all 3 times. Do you try to make play for some points?
Well, They got 2 timeouts, but at the same time, you got the lead 17-6. I would see, depends on the return really. If you get a really good return here, I might take a couple chances downfield. If not, you still can call a couple of run plays for Lomax or Conway and hope that they break it for a big gain.
So it's going to be Stanton and Saili back deep here for Mountain View, or for Spanish Fork, sorry. It's going to be McKay Waite, number 11. He kicked the extra point. He's actually going to do the kickoff duty here as well. This one's going to go kind of a low line drive kick. Saili comes up, catches it on the run at the 5. Out across the 25 to the 30. He gets into the open field. Out across the 45. Out to the 48-yard line. McKay Waite in there on the tackle. So now, Chris, you're at midfield. I would think you're going to take some chances here and try to score.
Right, and I think they have to get down inside about the 15 to get in Dawes field goal range. So I would take a couple shots downfield. You got 2 timeouts. And see how your hurry-up offense performs in these situations.
So we'll give Saili there, Lance Wilson, State Farm, great assist here to try to assist the offense to get some points here before the end of the first half. 28.7 officially on the clock, 2 timeouts, ball in the 47. Chappell back to throw. He's going to look deep, going up top, looking for Stanton, who makes the catch. He's down at about the 13-yard line. Ray Stanton holds it in. It's first down, Spanish Fork.
And if I were Spanish Fork, I would not take a timeout here and keep this momentum going as the clock does stop. A great job by Chappell. They will use a timeout here as they seem disorganized on that after that long play, but we've seen Chappell been able to connect a couple of times on that deep pass, and that potentially is our Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance great assist as Chappell has assisted a couple of his receivers downfield. Stanton that time, and earlier we saw it with Higginson, so that's a great sign that they can throw the ball deep.
And you think of it, maybe this team's a little more balanced here. So we'll get a moment here to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Lance Wilson State Farm for the Lance Wilson State Farm great assist. 2 Jack's Pizza, Mikkel Christensen Wise, attorney at law. Dickerson Automotive and BP Sports, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and the Car Guys. So thank you for helping make this broadcast possible. Chris, put on your coach's hat here. How are you playing this?
I think you're going for the end zone here and telling Chappell, hey, if it's not there, throw it away. We're within field goal range. Let's at least try and come out of this situation with 3 points. Don't be a hero.
Chappell takes the snap. He's going to throw. Higginson, but he overthrew him. He had him wide open. Nobody within about 3 yards of Higginson there. The good news is it only takes about 4 seconds off the clock. The second time you've had that kind of post corner out wide open.
And I think if Chappell knew how wide open Higginson was, he would have relaxed a little more and just kind of lofted it up there. I don't know who missed the assignment there, but there was not a Bruin within 7 or 8 yards of Higginson, so that's obviously a mistake.
And this is a huge possession defensively for Mountain View. They just got the points on the board, and really, if Spanish Fork scores, it cancels that out. Back to throw. Here's Lomax on the carry. He's going to get dropped for about a 3 or 4 yard loss. And Spanish Fork now will have to use a timeout. But 14 seconds, Chris, still only 4 seconds go off the clock again.
Yeah, only 4 seconds go off, but you've reached third down. So if the ball does not go past the first down or in the end zone, or if you gain something in between the marker here, the clock could potentially run out. So it's another situation where you almost have to go for the end zone or the sidelines here.
14.3 to go here. Friday night football here on Spanish Fork 17. Next week we'll be up at Skyline High School for Spanish Fork taking on Skyline. The week after we'll be back here in Spanish Fork. We'll be over on the other side of town. Maple Mountain will be at home taking on North St. Pete. The Golden Eagles today playing a very familiar opponent, Chris, in the Woods Cross Wildcats.
Yeah, if they're not playing Woods Cross 1.5 times a year, Maple Mountain is not happy. We've been to a couple of those games, and should be a good battle as Maple Mountain was able to win that last year.
3rd and 14, ball on the 17-yard line. Chappell back to throw. looking to the end zone, has a man out there. Colt Conti dropped it in and out of his hands. He kind of jumped right at the pylon and just bobbled it.
Incomplete. That'll bring up fourth down.
A tough drop if you're Colt Conti. The second time he's been wide open, just hasn't been able to get the football.
And Coach Parrish is holding his breath as Colt Conti comes up a little gimpy that time after that play, and they need him, especially on that corner, as he's able to cover for the.
So we saw Sam Daw for about 27 earlier. This is going to be a little bit, maybe just a little bit further, but probably right around the same distance. The kick is up, it's on its way, and it's going to be close, and he missed
wide
it.
left.
That just pushed it enough.
No good. 5 seconds.
And so 5 seconds to go. I would imagine we're going to see Mountain View take a knee and get this into the halftime locker room.
That's what I would do if I was Coach Anderson. But even though Spanish Fork didn't come up with any points, that was a great drive to get the ball downfield in a hurry. So they've got some big play capabilities with Chappell behind center. I think not to criticize Coach Parrish here, what really derailed that drive was that handoff to Lomax that went nowhere.
That was tough. I mean, in that situation, you would have maybe 4 yards closer on a field goal try, but you'd also kind of maybe minimize your playbook just a little bit more. But right now, the play clock running, Mountain View still on the sideline right here. They have one timeout available right now.
Takes over 1st and 10.
But I would imagine they're just going to take a knee. I would doubt they're going to run it.
They're going to take a delay of game penalty, too.
4 seconds on the play clock here. Going quickly. I think they're going to have to use a timeout.
I think at that point you just let the clock run, move back 5 yards, and take it into halftime. But also, I wonder if Coach Anderson's trying to teach him, hey, we're not going to quit. So I wouldn't be surprised if he tries and throw something deep here. I mean, this is his 4th high school coaching job. He's been in Florida, Tooele, Orem, and now here at Mountain View. So he's had a good record wherever he's been, so he knows what he's doing.
So it should be interesting to kind of see, and we talked about it. I mean, Chris, it's a culture change here at Mountain View. That's not something that's done overnight. They've gone through 3 or 4 coaches in the last, 5 or 6 years. Kind of similar to maybe an extent of Spanish Fork, where just trying to get some stability in a program.
Yeah, this is Spanish Fork's 3rd coach in 3 years. Last year, Mountain View had Lewis Wan, who was a great coach at Timpview that was unable to turn the program around.
They mishandled the snap. The ball is loose, but I think Mountain View recovered, and the halftime whistle, or the halftime buzzer will sound. We'll take a break here on Spanish Fork 17. When we come back, we will have the halftime, the drill team, and everything coming up here on Spanish Fork 17. Don's lead at halftime, 17-6 over Mountain View.
Welcome on the field.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork. MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork. Need a new car?
Rocky Tire Pros is owning.
Welcome back to halftime here at Spanish Fork High School. The Dons on top, 17-6 here on the opening game of the 2016 season. We're going to get ready here. We're going to go, I believe, cheered, then drill, and then band here at halftime here. We're getting ready here. Momentarily, we'll send you to the cheerleaders performance here at the half. In fact, let's get ready to send it to you down on the field right now to the Spanish Fork cheerleaders.
We're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that control in my feet, feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Oh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. You might like the way we rock it, so we stop another light when we go. Yeah, I'm getting you close when we move, when you already know. Just an engine.
Give it up to the 2015 cheerleaders. Please welcome the Spanish Fork Las Chilitas drill team. They will be performing an award-winning hip-hop routine titled Pep Rally, choreographed by Chris Castillo. The Las Chilitas are coached by Rachel Shaw, Elise Freeland, and Leslie Swinson. Give it up for the drill team.
Been in the gym just to be Beyonce. Trying to get us up to the Beyonce. Yes, I'm gonna bring it to the one day. Kinda old and sweet with my mom, yeah. Take high school, when the first step. Mine and my money on top. I'm the first girl, but like Kate, can't wait. She can cut you off, I get it. And I ain't gonna say nothing. The niggas I'ma get it. And y'all show the sweet side. Now you trying to cut up.
I take you on a trip down memory lane. This is not a rapper. This is cold as second, plenty cognac and major pain. Nigga ugly, waving your hand out the window, check yourself on.
I got drugs in Atlanta, credit cards and scammers.
Uptown, downtown, everywhere we get down. It's like a boom, that's the wall, touching toes, turn around like a boom.
The Spanish Fork High School Marching Band is proud to present their 2016 show entitled America's Pastime. This show highlights music from American composers and images from this country's greatest game. The fun music and bright colors of a day in the ballpark are played throughout the 4 movements in this show. Arriving at the park and seeing the players warm up, buying hot dogs and Cracker Jacks, maybe a thunderstorm or rain, and the competition of teams is all part of the experience. They will be performing 2 and 3 tonight. The band is conducted by drummer Major Nicole Cooney. Go Dons! marching band.
Better call ChemDry.
If you have pets, you need PERT, ChemDry's revolutionary pet urine odor and stain remover. ChemDry's innovative pet urine removal treatment eliminates pet urine and other odors at their source. Your pets can stay while their odors go away.
Voted 2014 Best Automotive Repair in Utah Valley Magazine, Dickerson Automotive.
I think the whatchamacallit on my car isn't working.
Not to worry. We're experts at fixing whatchamacallits.
Call for our specials or visit our website.
At Dickerson Automotive, we're committed to the finest repairs with personal care.
I trust Dickerson Automotive, and you can too.
Dickerson Automotive, way north on Main in Spanish Fork.
Here at Painter Motor, we have a variety of used vehicles from name brands such as Dodge, Buick, Ford, Kia, Hyundai, and Chevrolet. You'll find incredible deals, such as a 2013 Chrysler Town & Country for $18,995. The 2013 Chevrolet Impala LTZ, $14,995. We're the Painter Motor family, and we're here to get you on the road in the vehicle of your choice. No pressure, no hassle. Painter Motor.
Getting the health care you need can be confusing. Hi, I'm John Salambini, and as your advocate, I can help you get the assistance you deserve. My Advocate is a leading provider of support for Medicare savings and other community assistance programs. You may be eligible for government or other assistance programs to help low-income families get the health coverage they need. Also, let me connect you with other money-saving programs, all at no cost to you. Give me a call and let me be your advocate when it comes to health care.
Welcome back to halftime here at Spanish Fork High School. We're just a couple of minutes away from the start of the third quarter, where right now Spanish Fork is on top 17-6 here. Let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors for helping make this broadcast possible here tonight. We want to thank the Car Guys for the Car Guys Instant Replay, MVP Sports for the MVP of the game, which will be named at the conclusion of our broadcast here this evening. Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance for the Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance Great Assist. 2 Jack's Pizza, Triple T, Dickerson Automotive, Mikkel Christensen and Wise Attorneys at Law. We'd like to thank everybody for making this broadcast tonight possible here on Spanish Fork 17. So far, Chris, it's been a great night to be a Dawn Spanish Fork, striking early and able to really strike off.
Yeah, they've had 3 scores to Mountain View's 1, and Mountain View scored right before the end of the half there. To start things off, Sam Dahl had a 27-yard field goal, which put the Dons up 3-0 early in the first quarter. And then it was Latine Lomax with a 2-yard carry to get them up to 10-0 lead and finally for the Dons in their scoring, they had a 52-yard touchdown pass from Carson Chappell to Jackson Higginson. That put them up 17-0, and then Noah Jensen for Orem went in and got things a little closer, 17-6. But it's been all Spanish Fork for the most part. Mountain View's been struggling to decide who they want to go with quarterback, whether it's Anderson and Scow, and the Dons have capitalized.
We'll take a look here for some scores here from the rest of the region. Second quarter at Timpanogos, it's the Timberwolves leading Payson 29-0. Salem Hills leads Delta 14-0. That's at the half. A couple others. Second quarter down at Dixie, where Springville's on the road. They're tied at 7. And then Maple Mountain, they're up 16-10 on Woods Cross up north. Those are all the scores that I'm getting throughout the region. I think there's a couple of other games kind of scattered, but other than that, we're just about set ready to go for kickoff here to start the third quarter.
Welcome back to the second half of tonight's
Sam Daw will put a foot into it. McCabe Waite will go back deep, along with Noah Jensen for the Mountain View Bruins. Just about set ready to go here as they just let the final about 6 seconds here They have a 15-minute halftime, and then once the two teams get back on the field, they put an additional 3 minutes on the clock. So
right. Well, we were highly entertained with the cheerleaders, the drill team, and the band at the half. So far, an entertaining night here for Spanish Fork High School football fans.
Sam Daw puts a foot into it at the 40, and we're underway. Here's going to be a deep kick. McKay Waite will take it from about the 1 yard line out across the 10 to the 15 to the 20, spins, and then finally brought down, tripped up around the 22 yard line. And Mountain View will start here at the 25.
And if you're Mountain View, I'm curious, A, who are you going with at quarterback? And B, what is your game plan? You have not been able to throw the ball with efficiency, and they have really struggled other than running a couple of sweeps to the outside to get yards on the ground.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Mountain View. They'll start at their own 25-yard line. Wasn't an overly productive first half offensively. Noah Jensen had 7 carries for 17 yards, and the passing game really struggled. Both quarterbacks went 3 of 7. Here's the pitch. Noah Jensen trying to get patient, gets outside, turns the corner, is going to get a hard yard or two. Nate Mattis there from his linebacker spot, able to bring him down, but
and Mountain View goes straight to that sweep to the outside because that's really the only success they've had on the ground, and Spanish Fork sniffs it out as they're able to play lateral defense that time, as we see on the Car Guys instant replay.
So right now it'll be 2nd down and 7 coming up here for Mountain View. Chris, we saw Mountain View in that first half maybe have a little more success with the run. Do you expect maybe more run? They're definitely in striking distance where they're not necessarily having to go down the field.
Yeah, I think so.
Just barely got that play off, as again it's going to be Jensen on the carry, and this time he gets across the 25, maybe gets a yard, but I think he got just back to the line of scrimmage.
Now they tried to pull a guard on that play, and there was something wrong with the timing of that play because the guard got out late, caused Mountain View's blocking scheme that time, caused a lot of issues for that play to even have any success. Usually you don't see the pulling guard too much at the high school level. It's just a little too technical maybe.
And especially, I mean, it's something where, you know, maybe if you've installed it over a long period of time, but yeah, Chris, now that I think of it, I haven't seen that a ton at the high school level. Anderson back to throw, looks over the middle, has a man. That's going to be a 1st down out to number 10, Michael Clark. And that's good enough for a 1st down and a pickup of right around 11 yards out to the 38-yard line.
And that's one of those pass plays that might give Anderson a little bit of comment.
1st and 10, Mountain View.
As might give him a little bit of confidence as we move forward.
So Clark picks up a 12 actually out to the 39-yard line. His first catch of the ball game. And it will be Anderson again in the eye. He's going to keep it on the kind of the quarterback option there. Gets out to the 41-yard line. So a quick gain of 2. And we've seen Mountain View maybe with Anderson a little bit more try that little off-tackle quarterback run.
Yeah, they've apparently feel he's the more athletic quarterback that can run more of that option type offense, and they've had a little bit of success with it, but to be honest, they haven't had a whole lot of success other than that one big play that went for a touchdown.
Correct myself, he got 4 on that, did Deuce Anderson. There he drops the snap, and this one's immediately going to go for a loss. That's the 3rd time they've had a hard time, 4th time actually on that quarterback exchange right there, and there once again it takes a 2nd and 6, now puts them going to be in a 3rd and about 11.
Yeah, when you are eliminating 1/5 of your plays almost by bad snaps, that is really not a good way to run an offense. But I believe that was the first bad exchange between the center and Anderson. The other 3 were with Schau at quarterback.
So now Deuce Anderson will have to go down the field here and likely throw the football. He's 4 of 8 on the night with the big 52-yard screen pass in the 2nd quarter to Noah Jensen that went for a touchdown, being a majority of his yards through the air. 3 seconds on the play clock. Anderson just barely got it off. He'll step back to throw. Looks over the middle. That pass is picked off. Here's Landon Jensen with some blockers in front of him to the 20, to the 15, to the 10. Pulled down and right around the 3-yard line. Landon Jensen, the 2nd interception by the Dons defense. It's first and goal, Spanish Fork, with 8:29 to go here in the first half.
And that's a Mikkel Christensen Wise attorneys at law. Great defensive play that time by Jensen as he drops back into his own coverage and is able to pick that one off and nearly take it to the house as we watch it again on the Car Guys instant replay.
Similar last year, we saw Mace Funa do that multiple times through the season, and Landon Jensen definitely had some favorable blocks in front of him there. Now the offense here with a chance to see if they can't get in the end zone here.
I believe this is Lomax. He's the single back in the backfield. I would just hand the ball off to him up the middle.
Mountain View loading in the front seven. The give, Lomax, and he's immediately going to be dropped for a loss. It's number 20. That's Marconery there, getting there from his linebacker position, and not what you want on first down and goal from inside the 5, Chris, is the negative play.
Right, and that was one of the few times that Mountain View had excellent penetration on a defensive or on a run play that the Dons ran, and they just stuffed the run there. That was a great effort that time.
Lomax loses 2 there. He's had back-to-back negative carries. He had the 4-yard loss on the final drive of the first half. Here's the give with some blockers in front of him. It's going to be Landon Jensen trying to finish what he started, and he will. Touchdown, Spanish Fork, Landon Jensen from 7 yards out.
Yeah, great job by Landon Jensen finding the hole between the tackle and the guard and taking that in for 6. 7-yard run that time, and he gets his first touchdown of the season.
And now all that momentum, and now you have an official's timeout as a Mountain View Bruin is down, and I believe that's McKay Waite, number 11. And one thing, Chris, we haven't seen that maybe we see a lot of in August is you've got to remember it was 85, 90 degrees today here in Spanish Fork. I think this might be the first time we're seeing really a kind of a cramp start to set in.
Yeah, and that happens early here in the season in August. These hot nights, you sweat a lot, but they've been conditioning in this summer heat. It was hotter 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when they started fall camp. But it looks like he's going to be all right as McKay Waite jogs off the field, but he's vital to this Mountain View team.
High snap, pulling it is Conway looking for the 2-point conversion, and he gets it as it was going to be Tyler Christensen on the catch, and the 2-point conversion works, so Spanish Fork will go up 27-6 here, and Chris, really, that just took any momentum the Mountain View had and just took it away.
Right, yeah, correction, 25-6. But that, looking on the Car Guys instant replay, that looked like that was planned from the beginning. So I know the snap was high, but he jumped up right away. He could have got that ball down if he wanted to.
So a good opportunity here for Spanish Fork, and this is a good early season opportunity. You're going to kind of see some better teams here if you're Spanish Fork the next couple of weeks. You're going to see Skyline, who maybe might be your equivalent, but in a different region. And then, Chris, you're going to make a trip all the way up to Millville, Utah, outside of Logan, and you're going to get a new 3AA North school in Ridgeline.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Ridgeline does, but I would expect, based on how most first-year schools start in this state, that should be a W for Spanish Fork. But it will be a challenge next week up at Skyline, and we will be broadcasting that game live here on Channel 17.
Dow puts a foot into it from the 40, and whistles blow, and it's coming back from the 40, so you have to think probably offsides against Spanish Fork. And, Chris, not the penalty you want to see is maybe an offsides on the kickoff.
Yeah, that's just a dumb mistake, for lack of a better term. That is something that you just got to be a little more patient now. You'll potentially give Mountain View better field position, but I don't see Waite back there returning it.
It's Noah Jensen, and then number 5, that is Josh Zavala back deep, the senior running back, and he's listed as a running back and an offensive lineman. So now they'll move the kickoff back to the 35-yard line, and the return men will move out to right around the 16-yard line. So we'll see here as Sam Doff, he can put a good foot into it. I don't think he's going to get it to the end zone, but right here, we'll maybe see if they kick it short here. It goes deep, and Jensen's going to watch this one bounce it around the 4, and it's going to sit right at the 1. Jensen has to pick it up, and he's going to be dropped at about the 8-yard line. Flags come in late, and an opportunity here. Mountain View is going to start deep in their own territory.
And we'll have to see what the penalty is that's down on the field, but Noah Jensen needs to look. He misjudged that. He thought that was going to go back into the end zone and went over his head, and then realized he had to make a great effort. Just misjudged that ball, and we'll see. And it's going back on the Mountain View. They're going to be deep in their territory.
It's going to be a block in the back, so I believe the ball was going to be on about the 7, but now that's, I believe, going to move it back to, what, the 3.5, because I think it'll be half a distance.
And this is huge for Mountain View because they have struggled to move the ball at all, let alone drive 90-plus yards.
I believe they're going to have Deuce Anderson in there, so, and no, we won't. Connor Sco will come back in the game. Number 9 will be the quarterback here for Mountain View, but we'll probably see, I would imagine, Noah Jensen here. They'll just try to get some more room to work with.
Play got blown up by the defensive tackle that time. However, these Mountain View jerseys, these multicolored jerseys, are always hard to see in person, but on TV they look fantastic.
It's going to be Mark Onery on the carry there. He got a couple. And right now it's going to bring up a second down and right around 8. So 2nd and 8 coming up here from about the 7-yard line. They're going to spread the field here. 4 wide receivers, single back set is Noah Jensen. Seems to be some confusion now as Sco was under center. Now it goes back out of shotgun. Spanish Fork looks like they're coming. Here's the give, and Jensen's going to get dropped. He might have gotten a yard, but no more than that. Another great job by the defensive line for Spanish Fork getting right there.
Yeah, and the play clock on that play had actually hit down to 0. And they didn't call anything on that.
Jensen getting a nice 3 yards right there. So I guess he was able to move the pile, and now it's going to bring up a 3rd and 6. 6:35 to go, 3rd quarter. Spanish Fork scoring on a Landon Jensen touchdown here to open up the 3rd quarter. Back to throw with some time. Looks out in the flat. That ball is going to be in and out of the hands. Wade Stanton was in the vicinity, but just couldn't quite get there. And now it brings up 4th down, and Mountain View is going to have to punt.
Mountain View's quarterbacks have had some accuracy issues, both Scow and Anderson, but their wide receivers have done them no favors tonight as we see another dropped pass by Mountain View, and that time it was number 10. Michael Clark, that dropped that.
So 4th and 6, it's going to be Leo Saili standing at his 30-yard line. Back deep, it's going to be Wade Stanton. He's now moving back to right around midfield. So Spanish Fork likely to get good field position here as they break huddle.
And I imagine one more score here in this ball game, and we're going to see a lot of backups starting to play for Spanish Fork in the 4th quarter. Good opportunity to get some varsity time for some younger players.
Price gets the punt off, and Stanton comes back to receive it at the 47. Makes one man miss to the 40-yard line. Has some blockers in front of him to the 30. Makes another man miss to the 15. He's crosses back, still on his feet at the 10. Down the sidelines, out of bounds at the 4. Ray Stanton almost took that one to the house. And it's going to be 1st and goal. They're going to mark it, it looks like, at around the 8-yard line, but there's a penalty marker, it looks like.
And Wade Stanton had more moves on that play than Michael Jackson, as he was making people miss all over the place on that punt return. And great effort to get downfield and fake some people out.
I would imagine this one's coming back against the Dons. Personal foul offense. I didn't see them signal what the personal was for, but enough to know the personal foul. That's going to move the ball back to about the 26-yard line is where they're going to mark the football.
Yeah, that was a great return that'll come a little ways back, but still amazing field position for Spanish Fork here.
6:10 to go before we reach the 4th quarter. The Dons trying to go to work here and add to their lead. Carson Chappell, a touchdown pass tonight to Jackson Higginson. Takes the snap. He's going to give it right up the middle. Here's Mateen Lomax dragging defenders with him there, and he'll get a very tough about 4, maybe 5, but I think it's going to be 4 yards on 1st down. right there, and he just kind of drug players there.
Yeah, and he's not dragging small players either. That time it was number 56 he drugged for a little bit. Caneno and number 71, who we do not have a number or a name for, but those aren't small guys. He's dragging 2 or 3 yards to get a few more yards for the Dons.
I have Lomax at 94 yards tonight. Flags fly, and but imagine a procedure call here coming against them right here. We'll see what the penalty calls for here. Illegal procedure against Spanish Fork.
And I think if Spanish Fork wants to compete for a high seed in the playoffs in Region 8 this year, they're going to need the balance they've had so far with Chappell throwing the ball, Lomax and Jensen running. That is something they lacked last year. They were at times a one-trick pony.
I think there were times in those games, especially against teams like Springville, where it was really difficult for them to find other ways, like you were saying, Chris, where had they been more balanced, they would have been able to move the ball better. Here's Lomax, cuts back through the middle. He's going to be down to right around the 20-yard line or so. And there's Don down on the field here and not getting up.
Is that 72 Landon Davies?
That's what it looks like, and it is 72.
Looks like his knee, which is never a good sign. Hopefully he just hit it wrong, but can't really tell here on the Car Guys instant replay. This is one of the aspects of football that nobody likes, is the injuries, and it's just a part of the game.
Yeah, it's just part of the game, and that's hard, especially week 1 of your season. You never want to see an injury, and unfortunately sometimes it's happened where guys have gotten hurt week 1 and been out their entire senior year, or they get hurt early on in region play, and definitely hoping right now is Landon Davies, the junior, will come off the field assisted by a couple of coaches.
Seems to be moving a little gingerly, but it looks like he might be able to come back in this game depending.
Of course, at this point, up 25-6, Chris, you kind of wonder if maybe you don't hold him out the rest of the ball game and say, hey, great job, but we'll get you ready to go next week.
Yeah, I think that would be a great call at this point in the ball game. You don't want to get any of your key offensive linemen hurt further.
3rd down and 5 for Spanish Fork. They need the 15. Back to throw. Wide open is Higginson. He's going to have the first down to the 10. Trying to get the corner. He's going to be out of bounds right around the 7, maybe the 8-yard line. Looks like will be the 8-yard line. First down, Spanish Fork. So another pickup at 12. It's 1st and goal Dons.
Right, and that play set up by the deep ball threat that Higginson is. He averaged over 20 yards a catch last season. So when he runs that little hitch pattern, the defender is way off him because he's a deep ball threat. Even in the red zone, they got to respect his speed deep.
In the game last year, we saw Spanish Fork have a lot of success, especially early with that little hitch route. Here's Mateen Lomax trying to get in, and it's going to be close. Touchdown, Spanish Fork. Lomax in from 7 yards out, the second time tonight. The Dons have gone in from 7 yards out from the running back spot, and Spanish Forks opened this one up at 31-6.
Right, and Lomax has his 2nd touchdown on the night as he's over 100 yards unofficially, and he's been running hard, and it shows with those 2 touchdowns. I think he's looking like the leading candidate for the MVP Sports MVP Player of the Game at this point.
That will come up here, and of course, in our post-game show here tonight as it's officially become Friday Night Lights as the lights are on here at Spanish Fork as Daw comes on here for the extra point.
There's nothing better than high school football in the state of Utah on a Friday night.
High snap again. Conway's going to have to pick it up and look to turn it into something. Pressured by 3 Bruins. He's going to flick it out. He's got him there wide open, and taking it in to score is going to be Saili for the 2-point conversion. But hold on as flags fly here. And we'll see here. Those flags kind of came in, I want to say, pretty late. And so we'll see here what the call's going to be. As we'll see, it's going to be, okay, it's going to be good. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct against the Spanish Fork Dons. So they'll count the 2 points. But then on the kickoff now, they're going to kick from the 25-yard line. Yeah. So Mountain View, great field position.
Yeah, one more of those penalties and they'll be kicking from Salem. But Last time it worked out well when they had a penalty on one of these, as they kicked it over the head of the return men, and they nearly fumbled the ball and then got just a minimal gain after the return.
So 4 minutes and 44 seconds to go in the third, and Chris, you have to kind of like the energy, the atmosphere that's here. We saw it last week at the scrimmage where these stands were packed for a scrimmage. People are excited right now about football here at Spanish Fork.
Yeah, and for good reason. It's Coach Parrish has brought in a great coaching staff, and it's shown tonight as they are just beating up on the Mountain View Bruins. I know the Deseret News picked them as the 5th best team in the region. Last year they were in a 3-way tie for 3rd, ended up getting the 4th spot, but looks, from what I've seen so far, this team looks just as good, if not better, than last year's team. Now, obviously, it's early in the season, and Mountain View's the competition, and Spanish Fork looked like world beaters last year against Mountain View. But I think it's a great sign if you're a Spanish Fork Dawn football fan.
James Dahl will put a foot into it from the 25-yard line. Another deep kick, and going to be on the return is going to be Michael Young. Young's going to be tripped up right around the 35-yard line, and that's where Mountain View will start here with about just a little over 4.5 minutes to go. 33-6, Spanish Fork. The Dons converting on two-point conversions that weren't really planned, but works out.
Yeah, back-to-back, and that shows that you've prepared on special teams for all scenarios. The snaps for Spanish Fork have historically not been the best on the extra points, and so obviously they've capitalized and made gotten 4 points out of 2 bad snaps.
It's going to be a shotgun set here on first down, and here's the kind of the pump fake now, taking off and running with it. I believe that was Deuce Anderson. Now some chippiness, some pushing and shoving, and here comes a flag coming in. And still right there, as that was a show on the carry, the quarterback here for Mountain View as some extracurricular. We'll see dead ball personal foul against Mountain View. We'll see if it's going to be offsetting, if it's going to go both ways or not, and it will not. It's going to push Mountain View back 15 yards, it looks like.
And whatever happened must have happened to Gavin Campbell for Spanish Fork, because he came hopping out of there.
So they'll walk that off. That will be, according to my calculations, at 70 yards of penalties against Mountain View. They had 4 or 5 penalties alone, Chris, in the first quarter. You can kind of expect that. Guys getting a little too chippy, maybe antsy to go, but you would think now a lot of those would be kind of, a lot of that chippiness and excitement would be kind of maybe out of their system.
Yeah, penalties, and then the other theme that is the bad snaps. We've seen 4 bad snaps, and so between those two things, you've already negated 10 plays.
It'll be first down and 26 here for Mountain View. Back to throw. Show under pressure. Now he's going to throw it out to Jensen in the flat on the screen, and Spanish Fork is there. Jensen's going to get a couple out to about the 21-yard line. So pick up around 2 yards or so, but Spanish Fork really had that one sniffed out.
Right, and they got burnt on the screen there in the first half for Mountain View's only touchdown was a 52-yard pass play. And that time, as soon as the defensive linemen recognized they were getting no resistance, they all backed up and were trying to figure out where the screen was, and a great job by the Dons to limit that to a minimal gain. Another situation, 3rd and 26. You might want to play back here more in a prevent defense, but looks like they're playing just a base here.
3 receivers to the top of your screen. Back to pass. Show looking deep. He's got a man looking for weight. The ball's batted up and then diving, but not able to come up with it there. Believe was Landon Jensen. Zach Buse, was there in the coverage. He just couldn't quite get there. And now I believe that's McKay Waite again, who just came out of the game here already in the quarter. Now he's down again. You have to wonder again, he's holding that leg. Have to probably think of cramp again.
It's either a cramp, and they're stretching it out just as a cramp, and those are, as we all know, uncomfortable as all get out.
I've had a couple, and those do not feel good at all. But, Chris, the other thing is, too, one might kind of wonder, well, why are these cramps happening? McKay Waite is the guy who does the kickoffs. He does the kick returns, the punt returns. He plays safety and wide receiver. He hasn't had many snaps where he's been on the bench.
Yeah, he plays about every down and hasn't gotten enough liquid so far, but at the same time, the good news is he should bounce right back and be in this ball game, because he has been the most athletic guy at times on the field.
Let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible here on SFCN this evening.
We've got the car guys with the instant replay, Dickerson Automotive, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Christensen Wise, MVP Sports, Two Jacks Pizza, and Lance Wilson State Farm. We thank all of these great sponsors for making high school football possible here on the Spanish Fork Community Network.
We're excited for a very exciting, fun season here of high school football. Some great games coming up. We'll be here for Spanish Fork against Salem Hills. We'll have Maple Mountain and Salem Hills. We'll kind of bounce back and forth between both schools here this year, kind of doing the game of the week format. We'll see Maple Mountain for the first time in a couple of weeks when they're for their home opener against North St. Pete. That will be coming up 2 weeks from tonight, I believe September 2nd.
And also I got to apologize to Mikkel Christiansen Wise attorneys. It's not Christiansen.
Ready to go back from the 40-yard line. Here is going to be Stanton. He's going to try to turn the corner. He's going to be knocked right out of bounds. Inside, right around the 48, 49-yard line. So Spanish Fork will again start right here in Mountain View territory.
They got great field position again, and see what they can do with it. At some point, though, you almost feel guilty throwing it here. So I think we're going to see a lot of Landon Jensen on this possession, and Lomax as well, as he's lined up just to the left of Chappell.
Chappell from shotgun gives it to Lomax. He's going to try to bounce it outside. Cuts up the middle. He's going to get a tough yard there on first down. And a tough yard. He had to work for that one.
He did, and he's not going to be effective going sideline to sideline. He's going to be more of a north and south type runner.
As we'll see here, if Spanish Fork can kind of milk some clock here. Under 3 minutes to go, third quarter on this opening week 1 game here, Friday night. The lights are on, the stadium is packed, and it's just great to have live football going on again. Chappell back to throw with some time, looking deep for Higginson. He's can't quite come up with it. Running stride for stride was, I believe, I want to say that was number 30, but I didn't have 30 on my roster here.
And that was just a little late coming on the throw again, but you're working on the timing, Higginson and Chappell, in these early games, and if they can figure this out, Higginson is an amazing deep threat down the field.
Good news is you have a few weeks before Salem Hills on September 9th where you really have to have a lot of these kinks worked out, but a really good measuring mark here for Spanish Fork. Chappell's going to throw this one. He's got Stanton at the 40. He makes one man miss. Still on his feet at the 30. Down to the 25. Cuts back. There's a flag that comes in. Another one as Stanton's down to the 20. And where it came in, I have to think maybe a block in the back against Colt Condi.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was that time, and that'll negate a big gain. But we'll see if they still have enough yards for a first down. That is a spot foul.
It came in right around the 27-yard line or so. Is where I want to say here. Well, we can probably see it come onto your screen, not necessarily where that happened right. Well, you can't really see it, but right when here at the end of the play, right there.
I'll give these officials a lot of credit. I've been to high school games where there's been big delays for the referees moving the ball, making signals. These guys have been actually pretty quick. That is enough yards. Oh, it'll be about a yard short.
So it's not a great situation for Spanish Fork. He'd rather have the first down at the 20, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, Chris, it does kind of work out still as maybe a positive for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, it was a great play. They just need to clean up some of the blocking downfield with the receivers.
Third down and 1. Spanish Fork looking for right around the 26-yard line. The two-back set. Here's Lomax. He's going to go ahead. Got the first down and more. To the 25. Still on his feet. Breaks a couple of tackles. He's down inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. First down, Spanish Fork.
Yeah, great job as they run that little counter to the other side that time, and that hole for Lomax is huge. And once he gets a burst of speed, he is about next to impossible to take down by yourself in the secondary.
Lomax on the roster listed at 5'9", 180. We saw him a little bit last year, but we didn't see a lot of it from the running back position for Spanish Fork. Right up the middle, here's the give. And that's a new running back in there. That is number 28 on the carry. That is going to be Kimball Peterman. 20.
I can't see the number either, but if it is, I believe it's 25.
Oh, 26. Cesar
26.
Betancourt.
Yeah, Betancourt, they list him at 5'80", 155. This is a good opportunity to get some playing time for him as well tonight with this large lead.
Right up the middle again, looking to get closer to that first down marker are the Dons right there. A big pile as...
The good news for this Dons running game is they are just blowing the Bruins off the ball. Now, hopefully they can continue to do that this season and be able to pick up some huge wins as they make a push for another playoff berth.
Region 8 matched up with Region 7 this year, so you have to wonder how tough Region 7 is going to be.
It's going to be tougher than Region 8, in my opinion.
You're going to want to probably to be in that top 2 spots and have a home game. Here's the pitch outside. It's Conway looking for the corner, and he's in for the touchdown. Noah Conway from 3 yards out, and the Dons pull up to a 39-6 lead.
Yeah, great job by taking the corner that time for Conway. We've seen him convert a couple of passes on botched snaps, and now he's got a touchdown to match it as he's making a push for the the MVP Sports MVP player of the game.
You'll see him here. He's holding the extra point, so he's had to make a couple of those good throws. There's another high snap. Conway pulls it again, looking to try to throw it. Now he's going to have the jersey pulled, gets rid of it, and it's going to be intercepted. They'll blow the play dead right there. And I believe in college and the NFL, they could have returned that for 2. At the high school level, they blow it dead.
Yeah, the defense cannot score points on an extra point in the high school level, which is kind of a bummer, because once the snap's bad, you might as well, like he did there, Conway, you might as well throw it into traffic, because what if your guy comes up with it? The worst case scenario is they'll just blow the play dead if it's intercepted. Very interesting score. You don't see too many 39-6 ball games at any level.
Once again, though, we're seeing that extra point snap be something that's plaguing Spanish Fork. Last year in that Orem game, Chris, the 3 bad snaps really what set up costing them those 3 extra points to tie the ball game.
That cost them the game. They ended up losing 28-25. Both teams scored 4 touchdowns. The difference were those 3 missed, botched, snapped extra points.
Dow puts a foot into it at the 40. It's a line drive kick. It will be McKay Waite from about the 6-yard line. Going to the opposite side of the field, trying to turn the corner. Waite will at the 20. He's out across the 30 into some open space. He's going to be knocked out and dropped by the kicker. I believe that was Daw, who just kind of upended him and then dropped him.
And that is a second big hit on special teams Daw had. He had one last year up at East High School where he laid out the returner, and he does that as well, as you're not expecting the kicker to do that.
And that's just, I mean, if this was wrestling, that has to be, 2 points?
That is 2 points, and it looked like it was well into being a pin.
So an opportunity here. McKay Waite, a nice return. Good to see him back from the cramp. But now we'll see here as Deuce Anderson, number 2, will come out here with the offense with 9.9 seconds to go here, third quarter. 39-6, Spanish Fork on top here.
And if you're Coach Anderson, you've played both quarterbacks. I don't know if you've learned much other than we can't really move the ball on offense.
Shotgun set for Anderson, single back, and he'll go back to throw. Looks over the middle. That one's high and incomplete. Once again, kind of thrown into traffic. So I have, and again, this is kind of unofficial, Chris. I have Sko, 4 of 9 for 29 yards and an interception. And Anderson, 4 of 9 for 77 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The difference being that 52-yard screen pass to Noah Jensen.
And that was a great play call by Mountain View, but that has been their only big play of this ball game on offense. They've had a couple of turnovers on defense, but the offense has been unable to capitalize.
Anderson from shotgun, single back again to his left. He'll take it and give it up the middle. The ball comes loose. Spanish Fork picks it up, and Landon Jensen almost had a scoop and score, but they're going to say his knee hit the ground. And boy, I tell you, Landon Jensen almost had his second big impact defensive play of the night.
Yeah, and he's been all over from his middle linebacker position tonight, and that's another Mikkel Christiansen wise great defensive play that time by Landon Jensen.
And now I'd imagine the first team offense here with 0.2 of a second here in the third quarter will come out for this. Will probably be their final drive of the ball game. We'll see here if they can make it a Dickerson Automotive great drive here. They've had a couple of them already tonight. As the time expires, Lomax on the carry. He's going to go still on his feet inside the 35. He's going to go down to the 32-yard line, pick up around 6 yards, and that will end the third quarter. We've played 3 here from Spanish Fork High School. It's all Dons, 39-6. Spanish Fork leads Mountain View. You're watching high school football here on Spanish Fork 17.
You know Triple T Heating and Cooling, but did you know that Triple T does plumbing? From tankless hot water, soft water, and reverse osmosis drinking water systems, right down to that leaky faucet. Triple T sure does plumbing. Call Triple T at 801-798-7711 today. You know.
Start of the fourth quarter here on Spanish Fork 17, and you have to like the way it's been here if you're a Don fan, as it's a 39-6 lead for Spanish Fork, and the Dons have possession here to start the fourth quarter. Let's go ahead here and quickly thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We want to thank Mikkel Christiansen Wise Attorneys at Law for their great defensive play. Those great defensive plays make a great offense. Dickerson Automotive for a great drive. Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for our Triple T keys to the game. 2 Jack's Pizza. Lance Wilson State Farm for the Lance Wilson State Farm assist. MVP Sports for the MVP of the game. And then the Car Guys instant replay. Chapel goes deep for Higginson. Got him inside the 8. He dances past one defender, and it'll be brought down inside right around the 7-yard line. And a big pickup there for Spanish Fork. And I tell you, Carson Chapel really showing he can throw the football.
Yeah, and he stood in the pocket that time, and he took quite a shot, but he was able to complete it to Higginson that time. And huge gain for the Dons, and that's Higginson's bread and butter, is going deep for the Dons.
So first and goal from the 8-yard line after the pickup there of a nice gain. Here's Conway trying to dance. There's a flag that comes in, still on his feet, but he's going to go down right around the 4-yard line or so. So a pickup of about 4, pending what happens with the penalties.
Yeah, last year these two teams played, and it was up at Mountain View, and the score was 27-9. So it looks like Spanish Fork as a program's been on the rise, and Mountain View still struggling to get any wins.
Holding going against the Dons. That will move them back. 5-yard. That's going to move them back from the 9-yard line to the 19-yard line. So a loss of about 10 yards there. And it'll be first down and goal from the 19.
If you're Spanish Fork, you got to limit some of those penalties, but I think it's been a more acceptable number than they had in some of those early games last season.
Chapel back to throw, hits Colt Condy in the middle of the field. To the 15, cuts back to the other side inside the 10, and he'll get down to the 8-yard line, so picks up a nice gain there of 11 and get you back to second and goal.
Second and goal, and We'll see if they try and run it in again or if they'll try and throw it in this time, as they've had great success running the ball down in the red zone, and that's a great way to get a lot of points. But at the same time, is it a product of the offense or is it a product of the competition?
2nd down and 8, ready to go. Here's Conway on the carry. He's going to try to bounce it to the outside. He's going to have to get the corner. He will. And question is he in? He is. Touchdown, Spanish Fork.
And back-to-back touchdown runs for Conway. This one from 8, the previous one from 3. And he's accounted for 16 points for this Dons team if you count the two extra point, two-point conversions. That's a lot of twos.
So now another opportunity for Spanish Fork to really try to see here if they can't pull this one up here. With 10:29 to go in the 4th quarter, we see Conway again just having to get the corner there on the Car Guys instant replay.
It's one of those plays, no, and then yes, he's going to cut it in. He ran a long ways for that 8 yards.
They get the extra point, the snap down, the kick is good. And
attempt is good.
James Daw now 3 of 3 on extra point attempts tonight. Did miss the 1 field goal, but hit from 27 to actually open the scoring tonight. And Spanish Fork opens this one up to a 46-6 lead as the McKell Christiansen Wise attorneys at law. Great defensive play on one end ends up turning it into a Dickerson Automotive great drive as Spanish Fork punches it in.
A very good job of incorporating as many sponsors as we can, and Conway, with the potential MVP Sports MVP player of the game, finishes off the drive.
So we'll kind of see here. And Chris, I do like the point that you brought up, because tonight, I mean, obviously on paper, the stat sheet's going to look like the Spanish Fork team is really good. Next week at Skyline, the Skyline Eagles are kind of, I'm going to say on paper anyway, kind of very similar to Spanish Fork. So this will be a great test next Friday night.
That'll be a great test for Parrish to see what kind of team he actually has.
Ready to go. Dahl puts a foot into it at the 40. It's going to be a low line drive kick. And McKay Waite's going to bring it out at the 11, across the 25 to the 30. He's going to break it across the 40, and then he's brought down at the 46-yard line. So McKay Waite's had a really good night on the return game, but Mountain View just hasn't been able to get much going outside of the return game.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Dons, they've had to have their kicker make way too many tackles. But the way that Daw is willing to tackle, that's a great last line of defense.
Dahl listed as a defensive back and the kicker here on this roster, so those skills as a defensive back really come in well. And Chris, just like we kind of talked about, we'll see the second team come in here for Spanish Fork. The JV and freshmen don't play this week. This is technically an endowment game, so no JV or freshman, or I guess sophomore here in Utah. That one right up the middle. No gain there. Maybe a yard on second look there for Noah Jensen.
Yeah, and even when the second two-string comes in, they look like they're going to control the line of scrimmage. Mountain View still has all their starters in for the most part.
So a good experience, not just to get varsity action, but to get varsity action against the starters from another school. That's going to pay well, because honestly, a lot of times you don't know as a varsity head coach how many games a year you're going to be able to get those JV guys in.
Exactly, and this will be a great opportunity for them to get the majority of the 4th quarter in.
Admission is free.
A little update on the Maple Mountain game. They are trailing 16-10 against Woods Cross.
That pass almost picked off in and out of the hands. I believe that was number 42, Riley Hess, who had that one kind of come in and out of his hands there. Almost had a pick there, and he had lots of green in front of him.
And speaking of Spanish Fork's next opponent, Skyline, they were leading late in the 2nd quarter, 13-0 against Hurricane. Not to be mistaken with the Hurricanes.
3rd down and 9 coming up. I went to type that into Google today, brought up, Hurricane football, and I brought up a bunch of Miami Hurricane articles. And that was going to be dropped in the backfield there as getting to the quarterback as Anderson was dropped. Looks like it was number 25, Bronson Ermstrom, the senior linebacker, getting there. So a nice opportunity there with 8:14 to go, 4th quarter.
Yeah, great job of him running down Anderson. Anderson's only a freshman, but he does not look like your typical freshman quarterback out there size-wise. Maybe he's been struggling big time in other aspects, but Mountain View's going to go for it here. Down 46-6, 4th and 16. They have nothing to lose. No, they are going to punt.
Saili and Stanton will drop back deep here. Price has had a couple of good punts. The senior kicker for Mountain View has had a couple of good punts tonight. Standing back his own 26-yard line, gets the punt off. Once again, Spanish Fork getting some pressure on it. Stanton is going to bobble it, loose football, and we'll see, but I think Mountain View recovered it.
And Mountain View got it. That was number 7, I believe, with the pick up. Mayazi
picked it up here for Mountain View, and so an opportunity now for maybe that second team defense have to work through something, but really kind of a tough break if you're Way Stanton right there.
Yeah, and that's one where it's hard to run and catch the ball. That takes a lot of practice, and if you have any doubt at all, you just need to let it go.
So one thing to be aware of right now, I don't want to say mercy rule. The clock is continuing to run through everything, so they I believe only on timeouts the clock will stop. As Jensen on the carry here is going to get down to the 30-yard line, pick up a gain of about 2 on first down. If Mountain View would score, however, Chris, then that would change. The rules would go back to stopping the clock.
I believe the mercy rule kicks on when you're up by 35, and then it turns off when you drop below. Is it 28?
It might be.
So it might continue to run. We'll have to see. We'll have to look that up and be more prepared for next week in case Spanish Fork decides to blow out Skyline as well.
Be a good way to start the year. A couple of wins. Shotgun set. Ready to go. Back to throw. New quarterback in the ball game. That one thrown high. That is Savanata.
That'll bring up 3rd down for Mountain View.
Singatoriga.
Spanish Fork High School would like to thank their silver sponsors of the school awards program.
He's the 3rd-string quarterback, Sergatorga. Just a junior. I'm sure we're butchering that name. Looks to be the tallest of the Mountain View quarterbacks we've seen this evening.
Suga Toriaga from shotgun here with 4 wide receivers going to throw. Looks over the middle. That one's going to be incomplete, trying to get it over the middle.
But once again, the defensive line for Spanish Fork is doing an excellent job of getting in the backfield and disrupting some of these pass plays before they even start.
So 4th down and 8 coming up here for Mountain View. They're going to need the 22-yard line to keep this drive alive.
And Ryan, we talked during the red and gray game as we were here watching it, and I was a little concerned that the defense would struggle this season because the offense was moving the ball very well, but that has not been the case. The defense has played well, the offense has played well, and it's made for a great outcome for opening night here.
4th and 8, that pass is picked off. Plenty of green in front. Trying and making the tackle is the quarterback, as making the interception was Hunter Clark, the sophomore linebacker and wide receiver. And not the way there you want to end your offensive night, the 4th Mountain View turnover.
Right, and that was the Mikkel Christiansen Wise attorneys at law. Great defensive play that time, and we've seen a lot from this Dons team. They have created an absolute plethora of turnovers and miscues by this Mountain View team, and all they're doing is dropping, blitzing 4, getting pressure on the quarterback, and dropping 7 back into coverage.
Parker Swenson in. Bentoncourt will get the carry right up the middle, out to around the 49-yard line. Gain of about 4 on first down. Swenson, the sophomore, 6 foot, 150 pounds. We saw him run the JV offense last week, and JV offense looked pretty good with him.
Yeah, they did indeed. He looks like he could be a capable backup if something were to happen to Carson Chapel this season.
Spanish Fork here will spread the field here. Single back set once again with Bentoncourt to the left of Swenson. Mountain View looks like they're coming. Here's the give. Bentoncourt pops it outside. He's going to have a first down out to right around the 43-yard line. And a nice job there for Betancourt picking up a first down. Spanish Forks had a lot of first down side. They've been able to move the ball well.
Yeah, they've been able to move it not only through the air, but especially in the ground. And that's something that lacked for the 2015 team. So the key to winning championships really is balance, unless you're East High School and you can just steamroll everybody.
Which I believe they were doing tonight. I saw the score. They were up 35-7 or something earlier. Swenson's going to throw it here. Got him, man. Just overthrew Trey Lofton. As that one just outside. He was stretching for it. Just couldn't quite come up with it. And 2nd down and 10. I like the play call there.
Yeah. I think Lofton might have slowed down a little bit. Wasn't expecting the ball and then hurried and tried to speed up to catch it. But great idea. And it's a good idea to take the top off the defense every once in a while and keep them honest. And the Dons will be able to do that this season.
Shotgun set, ready to go, right up the middle. Betancourt's going to lose a yard here, back to the 45. He's actually going to lose a couple of yards. It'd bring up a 3rd and 12. I like the play call there, Chris, because oftentimes you get the second team in there and it's just handing the ball off, and they don't get a chance to really run the full offense against another varsity.
Right, it's the old, do you prepare your backup quarterback versus are we being not very good sports? So some would argue that's part of the reason, but at the same time, they still have to stop you, and you got to keep them honest.
3rd and 12, Swenson from shotgun. He gives it right up the middle, and again, dropped on the carry. 4 Mountain View linemen got there. Betancourt lost about 3 more here, brings up a 4th and about 15.
I imagine it'll be a punting situation, although I don't see Stanton coming onto the field.
Some of the special teams players, Mateen Lomax, started to run in and then realized, oh, wait, we're not going in yet.
It looks like they might just let the play clock run and then punt. They're getting the punt team ready.
Wade Stanton just put his helmet back on, and Spanish Fork has all 3 timeouts, so they can run this clock down and then call a timeout here to prevent the 5-yard penalty.
And with the clock continuing to run when Mountain View gets the ball, it'll be about, honestly, 1 minute and 26 left of time in this game in real time.
And they'll just take the delayed game penalty. They'll lose 5 yards tonight, and they'll go to a 4th and 20, and they'll punt from their own 47. And now we'll bring in I don't want to say first team punt unit, because there's probably only 1 unit on there, but the punt team will come back out here. Stay tuned. We'll after the conclusion of this game, we'll wrap it up. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and have our MVP Sports MVP of the game here.
Now, even though they called the timeout, the clock is still running with the mercy rule.
Stanton puts a foot into it. A nice end-over-end punt. Waite comes up to field at the 25. Out across the 35, and Nate Mattis will drive him back and drop him. There's a penalty marker that comes flying in.
And the referee threw that behind him as he was trying to go forward, and so it's a little rough for the officials tonight as well.
Wade Stanton looks like he hobbles off the field, maybe had a little bit of a cramp, and this will go against Mountain View with 57 seconds to go. The clock will just stop to allow the teams to get back on the field. Then I would imagine on the ready to play, that clock will run here. But Mountain View, tonight, maybe this probably isn't the performance the Bruins expected, but is there some silver linings, some things you take out of it, saying if you're their head coach, if you're Tyler Anderson, what do you know about your team now after 1 week?
Well, I think you've got to figure out who's going to be your leader behind center. It's not good to play 3 quarterbacks and have none of them successful, so that I think at some point he'll have to decide who they're going to go with and what kind of offense do you want to run. We've seen them run multiple formations tonight.
40 seconds here, clock still running, and the give up the middle to Jensen. He's going to pop this one outside, and he's going to have a first down and more out across the 40-yard line, still on his feet. He's going to be right around the 38-yard line or so. That's good enough for a first down. And nice job there by Mountain View.
They stop the clock, they'll wind it up.
Once everything gets set, now the clock runs. Probably one final play is what I would imagine here on this one.
Unless they pick up the first down. Yeah, but if you're Mountain View, you got to take the positives out of, well, we got our first game under the belt. Hopefully we've learned what we need to improve on as a team.
4 seconds here, and that one looks like pass goes incomplete here, and so that will 4 seconds here on the clock here. We'll have a second down coming up.
I'll wind the clock and we will be done.
So Spanish Fork comes out tonight victorious 46-6 on their week 1 win. They will get the victory here over the Mountain View Bruins, and Spanish Fork looked pretty good this evening. We'll take a quick break here on Spanish Fork 17. We come back, we'll wrap this one up, including the MVP Sports MVP of the game. Spanish Fork comes out victorious tonight on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork. MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork. You know Triple T Heating and Cooling, but did you know that Triple T does plumbing? From tankless hot water, soft water, and reverse osmosis drinking water systems, right down to that leaky faucet. Triple T sure does plumbing. Call Triple T at 801-798-7711 today.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks.
Welcome back to Spanish Fork High School tonight. The Dons come out victorious 46-6 over the Mountain View Bruins. And Chris, when we started this one 2.5 hours ago, a lot of excitement here at Spanish Fork High School with the new head coach and a couple of other changes that were made. And boy, Spanish Fork tonight really showed up.
They really did show up, and I think if you're Coach Preston Parrish, your first game as a head coach, he's been an assistant up at Davis for a long time, you have to be happy as they're going to go ring the victory bell tonight. But they completely dominated the Mountain View Bruins visiting from Orem.
And it was really one of those interesting games. We talked about it on paper. I mean, Mountain View, they have their challenges, to be honest. I mean, low in numbers and trying to figure out their quarterback situation and a lot of things like that. But they were just kind of overwhelmed and really outmatched by the way Spanish Fork played it.
Right, and they need to just go back to basics, like snapping the ball. We saw miscues with that. There's a lot for this Mountain View team to go over, but if you're Spanish Fork, there's a few things they need to improve on, special teams, especially the snap from the center to the holder. But besides that, for the most part, this was one of the most clean opening games I've ever seen for the Spanish Fork Dons.
Let's evaluate our Triple T keys to the games, keys to the game that we came up with before the game, Chris, and really a good opportunity for Spanish Fork. Maybe some of the mental miscues maybe still there, but really for the most part, they played a lot of mistake-free football tonight.
They did, indeed. They had a couple of turnovers, a few penalties, but that's to be expected in football. But I think for the most part, they didn't make nearly as many mental mistakes as Mountain View, and that's one of the reasons they were able to come up victorious in this game. The other, our second key was for them to establish an identity on offense and defense with this new coaching staff, and I think the key for the offense was a lot of balance, and for defense, they were ball hawks, especially in the secondary, as they were able to get pressure with 3 or 4 guys blitzing and being able to drop back a lot of guys into coverage.
So definitely, no doubt, a great team win. I'm sorry, we had a third one, didn't we?
That was just to relax and play football, get out those first game jitters, and I think Spanish Fork did that. Mountain View maybe not so much, and for Spanish Fork, as they look forward to their next game at Skyline, they'll be able to go into that game with a lot more confidence now that they're sure of themselves.
And definitely no doubt about it here tonight. We have an MVP Sports MVP of the game to give out. And Chris, there was a variety of different ways that we could have gone with this tonight. Landon Jensen had a great game defensively, had the rushing touchdown, and a couple of other players. But really, the big question mark coming in tonight was, and we talked about it before we went on the air, can they establish a running game?
Right, because last year they did not establish a very balanced attack. It was either run with the quarterback or pass with the quarterback, and that does not win you a lot of football games unless you're somebody like Washington State where you just plan on throwing all the time. But I think with Mateen Lomax as our MVP, Sports MVP player of the game, they're able to have that balance they'll need for to go forward to make a push for the Region 8 championship and possible playoff berth later in the season.
I had Lomax at 139 yards tonight, and he just kind of put the offense on his back. And if you can get about 100 yards or so a ball game, you don't really need to have him have a 140-yard ball game. But if you need him to get around 100 yards.
Right. If he can get 100, you can get a couple hundred passing. That's the balance that you need to win a lot of football games. And if the defense continues to create opportunities for the offense, this could be a very successful Dons football team. But at the same time, I would limit my optimism because they are playing a team that has historically struggled.
We'll find out a lot more next week when we are live at Skyline High School, a 7 p.m. Kickoff. It will be the Skyline Eagles and the Spanish Fork Dons right here on Spanish Fork 17. You can catch replays of this ball game and our many other broadcasts on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SpanishFork17. For my partner Chris Hurst, for our entire crew here at Spanish Fork High School, I'm Ryan Pickens signing off. Tonight, the Dons come out victorious 46-6 over Mountain View. The Dons are now 1-0.
Keep shotgun.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Brandon Anderson, bringing you the public safety report for the week of August 8th through 14th. The ambulance responded on 22 calls, treated 28 patients, and transported 15 of those patients. Firefighters had 6 total calls, 4 of which were false alarm calls. Dispatch received a call reporting flames seen in a field area northwest of town. Fire crews were called to respond and discovered a trash pile which had been burned earlier in the day, had reignited by the wind. The fire was fully extinguished by the fire crews. Fire crews were called to respond to a possible gas leak in a residence. Upon arrival, the home was investigated and a gas leak was discovered in the stove. The valve to the stove was shut off and the homeowners were advised to not use the stove until it had been repaired or replaced. Ambulance and rescue were paged to respond to an accident on SR6 in Spanish Fork Canyon. Several vehicles were involved in a rear-end accident. All vehicle occupants were checked by an ambulance personnel with no injuries found that required medical transport. The rescue crew assisted with